everyone. Hello and welcome to the Tetr World Championships. And I am here with another wonderful caster of mine, TGK. By the way, we're live. Just gonna. How was the reading going?
Oh, hi,
TGK?
hi. Sorry, that was my thesis. But either way, it's really nice to be here. But we're back. We're back at TWC 2023, and this is going to be Group C of the bracket, and I'm so glad I get to be casting with the one and only, Tetr.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure to be on the broadcast and be able to, help give people's perspective onto some of these players. Obviously, for the Tetr World Championships, if you've been tuning into a lot of the major and minor qualifier events, you'll definitely recognize these names by now, so I don't really have to give too much of an introduction. But My goodness, a lot of very good effort and talent put into these pools, and I believe right now... Wait, sorry. Are we on player screen?
We are on player screen indeed, because look at this bracket. Look at this bracket, and look at all these players. As a matter of fact, fun fact, by the way, we got 3 Canadian players in this group. We have Fortism, RKY, and Jag. How do you feel about that?
I mean, honestly, gotta love the Canadian talent as well. Gotta rep it for our friends up above the U.S. here, where I hail from. And also, just gonna do another plug as well. Snow is Infinite. They're gonna be hosting us in Toronto. So big shout outs to all of the members of the Canadian Tetrio community. Always love to hang out and chill with them. But again, a lot of very scary talent, and one that I'm excited definitely to see is how Fortisum tackles. Obviously, coming in as the 3 seed, so it has definitely proved their worth currently, but is just one of the most interesting players I think to watch currently, especially at a really high top level. But I believe we'll be getting into our first match relatively shortly. Which should be between Corpy and Muke, if I am correct.
Corpy is, in fact, a top Korean player, it seems like, is it not?
I think.
Because we definitely have seen a lot of Asia representation in the TWC, but Corpy has always been a pretty strong player, and Muke starting to really get the hang of competition right now, despite being a relatively casual streamer. But he's willing to compete into TWC tonight, and playing against Corpy, it looks pretty strong to me. Corpy does, in fact, rely a lot more on speed, with Corpy being fairly on the efficient side of things, because look at that APP. That's a pretty high bar to set if you're someone like Corpy. But we have seen efficient players before, and even throughout this entire tournament, we have seen quite a fair share of people that love to play just for cleanliness. And Muke might be able to take this pretty strongly by the looks of it. But
all right, so it looks like we'll be going into our warm-up here to start the round. So looks like just regular looking builds. I believe just kind of a TKI general start from both players. Corpy going into a PC solve option. Out of it, gets another one.
Corpy already getting with that PC strength, while Muke clearly setting up the fractal and getting started trying to clean up their board, while Corpy sets up the STSD, goes for the switchback instead. Doesn't have the back-to-back to continue it, though. But Muke is playing pretty slow to start, This is the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah, look, I think, Corpy definitely looking for that downstack option, trying to find a multiplier, not quite going to get one there, but still not a lot of pressure currently on their board, so they have a little bit of freedom to just, figure things out. Again, this is the warm-up. Muke, however, definitely showing that they will be likely having a speed advantage for most of this set, although Corpy is hanging in there quite a bit with that APM. Wow, the combo, again, as we mentioned before, was looking for that crazy downstack. However, Muke also responding, says, no, I can also find these crazy downstack combos. And even in our warm-up, Muke and Corpy definitely showing both what they're capable of. And Muke is just going to a center well currently. Is there a clean way to carry over? Yes, they reopen the well. Oh, I can't tell. Okay, just gonna Z-spin, just clean up the stack. Corpy Still
Oh.
making a couple of decisions here and
Oh.
there. All right, Muke, a little bit of man-made cheese. Nothing too bad, though. Again, we can see Corpy is just kind of still, like, both players keeping the stack relatively low. All right, and things starting to build up a little bit. Corpy might be able to get that down stack combo, but Muke also just riding through with back-to-back, but breaks it at a very inopportune time.
Oh god, it definitely looks like Muke is holding pretty strong. Corpy is making all of this defense for themselves. And Muke is just clearly trying to look for kills. I don't know if I'm lagging or not. I think it's my connection.
I think it's just a little bit of the regional ping a little bit. But
Yeah,
still,
indeed.
both players, we can see Muke is not really slowed down, and Corpy not really letting up on that efficiency either. Holding each other both to kind of their maximum standards. And we are already 2.5 minutes into the warm-up. 20 spike comes out from Corpy, still trying to... Both players have a really strong back-to-back still going.
Goodness. Muke is continuing that pressure, and Corpy is just running it along like it's a Sega Saturn game from
Oh no, and I
1996.
think a T-spin misdrop for Corpy. And 15 back-to-back is going to clean it up. Muke does take the warm-up. And wow, a 291 line sent from Muke, 289 from Corpy, and their lines received was a 1 line difference. About as evenly matched as we could have possibly gotten from a warm-up. TGK, anything else you want to call it specifically? I know we had the insane efficiency, the spikes as well, even just our warm-up rounds. So.
Just Muke really took all that strength at the favorable warm-up round. That recovery from Muke was actually really good for what he had, especially with the downstack that he built up to. The 30 spike is enough to kill, but 30 spikes are already enough to be recoverable if you have the luck and the setup for it. But it definitely looks like Corpy has admitted in all chat that they have been lagging a lot. So I think, of course, definitely with that regional ping, it's going to be really rough for them. But...
Which, in fact, little fun fact for those of you as well who are in tune with some of the competitive scene. Corpy is one of the largest Korean commentators that we employ, especially for a lot of Stacking Arena restreams and other tournaments. However, I've been told from Andy, who is the kind of the head of Stacking Arena, that there's been a little bit of Korean outages currently that are making the connection difficult. From Corpy.
Oh dear. Poor Corpy.
So it's a little bit unfortunate. I guess it's just we're going back to an age of pass-through just a little bit, just to see what the meta would be like. However, I think Muke right now is just a little bit, does not really know what we're going to go with. And just, you know what? It doesn't matter what's happening. Just keep on going. No!
No, Corpy!
Not like this.
Oh, okay, well, very unfortunate.
I will commend Muke, though, for continuing to play. Because there are other times, too. Like, I've done this with TEC, because sometimes that's another game where, like, with rollback, it gets, like, really confusing if someone's just, like, stalling or just, you know, other things like that. And just... Oh, God, that is... You'll get, like, a lightning strike on the other side of the screen in 3 seconds if you stop playing. So you always got to keep giving it that 110%. If they're not sending offense, you got to go full force on it and just keep on pushing.
And I feel like the thing with lag switching, especially in Tetr, is that even though it stops, they're still going to send offensive damage, so you don't know what they're going to build with it. So it's, of course, a good idea to keep the pressure going if you're someone like Muke. But seeing Corpy in this unfortunate situation in his country is it's going to be very hard in terms of competing. I hope to God this next attempt might be favorable, or at least better than last time.
We will hope so. Alright, the Z and O could be a potential stick spin opener for those of you that love that early O piece. Alright, and we're getting a couple pieces. Muke with an early misdrop, but Corpy's connection seems to be a little bit more stable. Gets that all clear as well. Muke gets the T-spin triple kick into... It's just going to be a double, but still not really under too much pressure. Corpy, though, very low on the board, and some very clean garbage to work with.
Muke with a very clever spin with the J just to get that downstack afterwards. Corpy looking not too threatened at the moment, but still has some pretty solid downstacking to put in just a bit of pressure to Muke. Muke, of course, being very unaffected.
Muke wants that fractal. A little bit of a greedy Z piece placement, but again, it doesn't break back. Okay, well, never mind. We apparently do not like keeping back-to-back as soon as it's called out. Corpy...
It's the one thing that Muke just doesn't really like to do all that often. It's just being able to hold back-to-backs all together. But Muke still has the chance to do a lot of damage. Very good prophecy by Muke too.
Well, one other thing I'd also like to point out too, like I noticed this a little bit during the warm-up, but I didn't call it out too much. Corpy is not using the infinite soft drop that you'll see a lot of Tetrio players go for, especially to boost that APM in T-spin doubles. But they are going with a, I want to guess it's probably around like a 20 to 25x drop speed. Like it definitely will get the piece down in time.
Oh god, Muke with the T-spin greet though. Sorry to interrupt you, but Corpy does in fact take it.
And yeah, I definitely think Corpy is going to be relying on quite a bit of efficiency because Muke has, I think, that definitely in the execution side of things in terms of raw speed and being able to just play to as much as the game will allow them, definitely going to be riding a little bit more in favor than Corpy, but still showing that it's not impossible by any means. Play the game however you want and however you most enjoy it.
Oh no, Muke! Muke with the eye misdrop. That's gonna be so bad for Muke. And look at all of these holes on the board that he's made. Corpy is just playing so cleanly.
Oh, but now Corpy with a misdrop has to be a little careful because there's a decent bit of clean for Muke currently. So we're gonna be looking for it. Nice little bit of down stack as well from Muke. And again, that speed advantage coming in so useful as they're able to get down through the garbage. However, look, we can see on Corpy's side, we can see that back-to-back building up. There's the STSD. And another spike to follow up. Corpy trying to end it, but Muke has some incredible survivability. And now over to a little bit of a sidewell, gonna clean things back up and back to an even game.
Oh my god. Okay, both of these players back in neutral. This seems very good for both of them, but Muke is just looking for a way to kill it, because look at that back-to-back chain. If you're Corpy...
they are flying through. Corpy, though, actually a very clever T-spin single as well in the middle of that downstack combo. Definitely getting a lot of APM for their pieces worth.
Ooh, very interesting overhang by Muke. Being able to use the extra T, not exactly the best one, but not exactly the best solution to the most riskiest scenario, but Muke is in fact holding their ground.
Corpy's gonna try and time a little bit. Let's see, how much are they seeing into the future? 14 spike, we can see that speed going up a little bit. I think Corpy was able to look ahead. Get a lot of that damage off. No, it's not really the best T-spin spike there, and Muke's gonna try and counter spike.
Yeah, Corpy's in trouble. This is not exactly the stack you want, and Muke ties it up in the second round. This is gonna be a pretty close one in this in the first match of the night.
I do think this is going to be a very exciting long set because although a lot of people especially don't like having sets go on for incredible periods of time, I think Muke and Corpy have this insanely weird balance where they just seem to be executing at almost the exact same level for such long periods of time. It's going to take a lot for either player to really start swinging momentum. Again, like, Muke, just a little bit of a misdrop there, but Corpy's not really able to capitalize again, has a bit of speed disadvantage. But when Corpy's on the ropes, Muke just isn't really caught in the best of board states to be able to make stuff work out of it.
Very good floating by Corpy as well, getting that mini afterwards. Definitely seems like Muke is having a really hard time trying to fix this board.
What's the solve here? Okay, oh wow, beautiful job getting that quad on the end of the combo and able to deliver a bit of a counter spike, but Corpy is unfazed.
And Muke is just completely cheesed up. That is, you don't need that prophecy, Muke. That is so unlucky. Just 2 pieces away from just clearing it, and Corpy takes back the lead by about a point.
Well, I mean, it is only a point technically, but at this point, that could be a 3 minutes worth of a lead or 30 seconds, depending on how these rounds go. Although I'm a little inclined to agree with the former. Corpy, though, looking to do some wait, is that LST stacking from Corpy? Or is this just 6-3? It looks like it might just be 6-3, but this back-to-back is going insanely well. Unfortunately, has to cut it in favor of that survivability. Play it a little bit more safe. You don't want to fall too far behind very early on in the first to 11 set. Oh, Muke with a beautiful eye spin. Very difficult and oddly deceptively difficult, especially for players not too familiar with the piece rotations. But Muke able to get it first try effortlessly, not having to get skill checked by the eyepiece today.
Corpy with the extra T overhang. It definitely seems like both of these players are relatively low. Muke's starting to downstack a bit more. Corpy is not exactly looking for quads, not exactly looking for all these high damage options that you ever so want, except for that downstack, which is something that they so find, but Muke doesn't really feel the damage all that much. Close to topping out, but looks like Muke is just doing pretty much okay for the most part, but still maintaining that back-to-back. Corpy has a pretty good solve here. Does get the J-spin out of the way. Looking pretty clean at the moment. And Muke is just racing for their lives, especially at a speed at 3.33 compared to Corpy.
Oh, uh-oh. Careful.
Yeah, and about that speed...
on the ropes!
A little bit of speed from Muke, being able to make so many misdrops in a matter of seconds, while Corpy is just, of course, being the plonking type of player. Of course, looking to keep it patient and keep it slow, finding as many solutions as they could, but the round's already getting to the 2-minute mark. Of course, with these matches being pretty lengthy, I could definitely hope it doesn't last too long, knowing both of these players' playstyles.
The one misdrop there towards the bottom of Muke's stack. Another terrible misdrop, and unfortunately, they're not able to really spin that Z piece in. Since where the infinite soft drop is going to be a little bit unoptimal, and Corpy has the time they need to solidify just that little bit of extra APM and push Muke over the edge. And that's going to be 3-1 now for Corpy as they manage to get the all clear. I think this might be another all clear potential. Okay, no, maybe not.
What? Ooh, very good fun by Corpy.
Doing a lot of really solid work timing. And even though Muke has quite a bit of counter spikes ready, Corpy's retaliation is also prepared in the same amount of time it takes.
I'm really liking Corpy's way of finding and just looking for another alternative decision, especially in these kinds of plays, while Muke is just looking for pure damage spam and trying to make it work. It definitely seems like Muke is trying their best, especially with the stack that they have. Breaking back-to-back, unfortunately, does find the SEMB cave. And, that misdrop don't look so good. The panic from Muke.
Okay, well, again, yeah, they have that quad, able to do a little bit of, I don't want to say bailing out, but at least gives a brief option for downstacking. My goodness, Muke has to get down just barely fast enough. Corpy not able to send enough garbage in time. And finally catches up to the clean. Muke's still alive and kicking. Corpy, though, look at this APM is flying off the charts. Almost approaching 3 pieces a second, 140, but Muke finally finds a counter spike in order to push Corpy up just a little extra bit to really get that pressure off and bring things back to the mid-game from the jaws of another loss, trying to prevent Corpy from running away with it.
Goodness, Muke with the recovery, and it looks like they might have to do it again, all thanks to Corpy's APM. Just trying to send so much back-to-back garbage, but Muke isn't really too affected. A bit of greeting right there, but
and that
Muke
donation
really
from Corpy! Oh no, unfortunate misdrop. But
both of these players are so back and forth. You don't know who is going to take this round, and Muke is having a hard time trying to really get themselves straight, and Corpy is... Oh no, don't tell me Corpy had another outage. Oh no.
Oh, alright, yeah, a little bit of a sputter. Muke's just going to keep making those T-spins. Corpy has decent bit of clean, though.
Oh my god, no, Corpy, not like this. And Muke is still going. He just doesn't want to get sent enough garbage to just top him out in favor of the
I don't blame Muke. I feel Corpy's probably doing the same thing. We just don't get to see it in the full in quite of all its spectacular glory. It looks like tried to do a combo, and I think
that fixes it. That fixes it. Clean.
Where was okay, I thought the eyepiece was hard dropped. I think that might have been my bad.
Oh, but look at how much clean Corpy has. Oh dear.
Yeah, just gonna send it right back.
Oh god, this is so hard to cast this. Oh god. I don't know how to
I mean, you might think it's hard to cast. Imagine trying to play this as well as your round 1 opponent, alright? This is probably terrifying for Muke and Corpy, both collectively. Just like, it feels like the what's it called? Like, there was a version that they made of, like, okay, maybe I should be a little more focused on the match.
Yeah, because I saw Muke get sent tons of garbage.
You never know. It's the terrifying part. It's like a horror movie.
Is this what it's like playing against ZZZ Toad or something? Oh god.
I mean, if they played 3 pieces per second, but it only uploaded every so often.
That's what I'm thinking. It's just watching Corpy. It's just really difficult. But Muke is still continuously sending, so I don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, we're approaching like 4 minutes now. This is wild. I feel like we're gonna start having a bit of damage multiplier if things don't get to. Oh my lord!
The 36 spike.
I was about to call out that there was a lot of clean on Corpy's end. I don't know what happened, but I'm really hoping Corpy has a replay of that.
Oh my god!
Because we're gonna need it.
Muke, all of a sudden getting bursted up the wazoo with Corpy's lag spike.
Oh, we do have Sailboat though coming in from Muke.
Yeah, but I don't think that looks as clean as Muke wanted it to be. But Corpy is just playing on dial-up. This ain't 1995, son.
Oh man,
what is happening?
The 1995 meta of Tetrio.
What is
just
going
keep
on?
playing. Just keep playing. You never know what's gonna happen.
This is a super major.
It is ironically the funniest but most tense moment you could ever have at a TWC event.
Oh god. Oh god.
Little donation from Muke. Okay. Oh my goodness, there's the all clear.
Very good mid-game PC. Finally
gets another one.
Uh-oh. Corpy.
Corpy's a little bit behind. No!
No! Corpy.
Alright, well, props to Muke for getting those perfect clears. I think it was, yeah, what was that? I think 1-4 or 2-4 or however it works. After the DC happened. So we might have to go back to our rule set overall to see exactly what the ruling is on a couple of these disconnects. We might just be going back into it at, I think it was 1-4 before it happens. Not sure if we'll be giving all of the DC potentially to Muke if unfortunate internet things continue to be an issue. I mean, still a lot of very incredible moments though from both of those.
Yeah, like I was not expecting this match to turn into something completely different. I thought this was going to be like a fair 1v1, but with the server outages,
I still think I still think it's a fair 1v1. I'm not going to rule that out. I do think it makes it tremendously more difficult.
Both of these players played pretty closely, and even though Corpy had like double the amount of points that Muke had, I think that really mattered with the connection side of things, like the technical part of the entire match, and that really felt unfortunate for Corpy, and I hope to God they come back.
I mean, yeah, Corpy has been doing a fantastic job as well. Like let's not forget that as well. That Corpy was up. What was it, like 4-1? I think. I mean, even though it's a subtle speed disadvantage, it's really difficult to try and manage a clean stack when your opponent's able to kind of get out of these things, sometimes almost scot-free, even if you send a crazy kind of a spike, and you need something like a 36 in order to really get some momentum going for yourself. But just time and time again, it looks like Corpy might be able to win the game of attrition if they're able to keep continuing through.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's again very, very exciting to see how this pans out, because this could have easily as well been 1-4 in favor of Muke instead of Corpy if just a couple of things happen at the end of those like 3-minute rounds.
Oh god. And I can only imagine where it's gonna go from here on there, especially with the current score that we have, which is what, 4-1?
Something around there, yeah. I believe they're probably just going to take it 4-1, and if the DC happens during the match, I think they're just going to...
Just call it?
Yep. Just say, alright. So, unfortunately, Muke's PC is not really going to do too much for them, but I guess getting some very good blitz practice in between matches, which, not exactly an easy thing to do when you can't really play Zen in a private lobby, but I guess the never give up mentality from Muke really going to be helping things out, and I believe they're just going to be topping out rather quickly to help offset those scores to the proper total once those are underway.
Goodness me.
So we'll be seeing some very fast piece placements from both Muke and Corpy.
Let's see how many times they hit the spacebar. You know, spacebar per second. Just SBPS.
A little bit.
And
I I think I've heard some people will have multiple hard drop keys for this reason to try and top out fast. Well, maybe like that. I don't know.
People have hit some ridiculous world record paces with that sort of thing, you know?
I mean, people just love to have that, like, one random arbitrary talent of topping out everything as fast as possible. Oh, no. Please don't. Uh-oh.
Corp. Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Okay, well, it's lagging, but we're not out yet. All right?
Oh,
we
dear.
are still alive, which is progress. We've got an early eye.
Uh-oh. Yeah,
okay, we've got...
He is chugging. He is chugging. And Muke is setting up some pretty solid 6-3 at the moment.
But I think there's a little bit of a misdrop. Corpy's going to try and have to skim through this. Does so successfully, and I think that's going to be a quad on multiplier. So Muke is going to try and send off a little bit of garbage already, just to make sure Corpy doesn't have too much to work with. And, oh yeah, but Corpy with a very nice, I believe this is a 7-2. A couple of S's and Z's would make this very favorable for garbage. They can open up to the center well and get a quad as well. Muke, however, not taking too much garbage early on.
Oh,
and there's the spike from Corpy.
God, that's a big long red bar. I'll say so myself.
Well, because another thing too, I'm also realizing is Corpy again having the speed disadvantage usually relies on board watching their opponent, and during heavy periods of latency, that makes the strategy so much more difficult.
Muke's board was just a complete dono. With not really sending much, and Muke is just trying to clean this up ASAP, but Corpy is not doing anything. That's not good.
Jeez.
Yeah. Shall we call it?
Well, we got one again. I don't know who to go to necessarily if we have to go to DC rules. I have not taken a look into the rule book that much particularly.
That is some unfortunate timing for Corpy too.
Oh man, I know this part isn't on stream, but with the way I'm also like watching the stream over here to like double check how things are going. I saw like the end stat results and they were going off the top out games. It was just very funny.
Oh God,
a lot of speed on those ones. So well, I have a feeling this will be a bit of a difficult match to get the full replay of. So I'm gonna be definitely highlighting this stream after I go and making sure to save our clips of it.
Oh,
because that will be a bit interesting.
This is... I don't know if I could count this as the most entertaining Tetr match I've casted, or the most scuffed. Like, I'm at a loss for words that, like, Devo. I don't know how to feel about this. I can feel sorry because of the internal stuff of Corpy. I feel bad for Muke trying to take this pretty early on, because this seems close. It seems close in concept and in theory, but when you think about what's happening from Corpy's end, it seems very hard to play, and seeing it is really hard for us to commentate. So
which again, like, I will say as well, like, I'm very surprised that with Corpy's style, where you usually probably get hit a lot harder from having, like, server problems, Corpy's been the one benefiting, it looks like, the most from having these jump scare moments of once things finally try to sync up.
It happened twice. Keep in mind.
That is true. Maybe there's a little bit more skill to playing in latency than we all would assume.
Well, time to go to McDonald's.
Yeah, the McDonald's Wi-Fi, the 3G, whatever it is, and I love some of those things.
Oh God!
But it looks like we are trying to get word from both Corpy's and I believe T-Flat, who is our stream host for tonight on the Team TST channel, is actually reaching out to the team, and I think Oscar's trying to get server boost to the Korean servers for Tetrio to try and see if we can get the best connection possible. A match tonight.
A match like that requiring a Korean server boost. I've never heard that. I've never heard of that before.
Well, I mean, also consider the fact that like we're playing a game where we're allowed to just ask the dev like, "Hey, are you allowed to like boost the servers here? Because this player's having a pretty hard time connecting to it."
This is a lot to take in, and
this is
honestly, all this dead air like being cleared is honestly what's carrying all these technical difficulties. Honestly, I hope to God all of this gets resolved ASAP. But
Mhm.
shoutouts to Osk for carrying the technical side of the match.
Alright, and Andy as well, who's helping with our career iteration roster, giving us a little bit of intel. They said they were talking with Corpy currently, and they said that Corpy actually had no difficulty looking at Muke's board with latency. That apparently Muke's side was updating just fine, so I think it's not so much Corpy, I think, it's not the server getting it to Corpy. I think it's the Korean servers getting Corpy's data out to Muke and to all the spectators and casters in time. That might be a little bit of the issue, so I guess Corpy might have the advantage, I guess, in this case. If that is true. No. Again, I do find that very odd that, like, only one person is able to, like, view someone's board on time.
Oh, no.
Because that does seem very, like, odd, I guess. I would expect to hit both players equally, because I think in TEC desyncs, I believe it's both players usually experience a bit of rollback issues. But, yeah.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good if that's in favor of someone who's lagging the
Yeah. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I think OSK is definitely working on the potential workarounds and how to try and get this done, but I believe we're also looking into potentially postponing the rest of the set. Until that happens, we might have to get another match in here, but I don't think we really want to at this case because they're already, warmed up and ready, and round ones are already underway. So it's like...
that would be a waste of a set. Oh god, do we want to do ads? We can
always do ads. Hey, there is all. Look, first of all, ads are helping sponsor this event. We always have time to do the ads, alright?
Right, so coming up on January 5th and 6th, 2024, we have an upcoming Canadian LAN event, Snow is Infinite 2024, powered by Hitbox, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And you can always, to those who are near the Canadian regions or those who want to travel for a competitive Tetr Slam, because we do have Tetrio here, you could always come to Snow is Infinite 2024 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada at the Invictus Game Station. And while we're at it, even during Snow is Infinite, we also have the 2024 Stacky Awards coming up. So, of course, to those who want to still vote on their favorite Tetrio players, commentators, creators, in general, just any kind of Tetris-related stuff that you want to see involved in the Stacky Awards, you can always vote. But to those who just want to participate in the LAN itself, you can always go to Snow is Infinite 2024 at start.gg SII 2024 and sign up as soon as you can. And remember, always remember to have your passports.
I mean, thankfully for our players in Group C, almost half of them already are just in Canada by default, so they won't have to worry about that. But again, I am very excited about this upcoming LAN. Again, I did not have the chance to make WPLC, which I think was the most recent one we've had for a lot of the guideline and block stacking games and tournaments and such. So very excited to be a part of this, as well as the first chance for the Stacky Awards to be live and in person. Just a lot of cool stuff that's in the works. Ideally going to be helping plan some of these activities. Obviously, I won't be able to have too much of a say in a lot of the things that relate to what I do in the community, so especially for, like, the Commentator of the Year, Commentary Duo of the Year. My point is invalid. I'm not going to be on that team deciding that because several people have placed nominations for a lot of the lovely faces you'll see on stream for TWC, TECWC, and a lot of the other large events that do take place. But again, just there's so much that everyone has been planning on. Like, I kid you not, like some of these plans I think have been in the works since, like, I think last Square One or potentially even beyond, like probably around a year total. And just a lot of foresight in making sure to try and make this event as big as it possibly can. And not only that, but also accessible. Because I'm going to tell you right now from personal experience, I've gone to other like FGC events where there's like a lot of big tournaments and stuff happening all at one point in time. $25 for the player pass is a very good deal to have, all right? So if you're looking for a random LAN, especially if you're trying to, get in the community, get to know some faces and such, this is a fantastic way to jumpstart that and get yourself into the community, able to meet everyone, and just, again, have a wonderful time over a weekend of January, playing some Tetris, some Tetrio, and all of those fun games that we're going to be having there for you.
Absolutely. And of course, like I said before, if you're also still willing to vote for the Stacky Awards, you can still do it at this very moment until all of the votes are decided. Unless this is mainly Google Forms restricted, but
I mean,
way.
it's a little bit of a balance between the committee and then the Google Forms. Google Forms definitely help direct a lot of the overall like kind of who gets the nomination spots as well when people do the voting as well. Which I believe that's what we're at the point is basically just again doesn't matter really what the spectrum is or what community it's from. We're just looking for nominations because we know even as a lot of TOs commentators as TGK and myself. We can get a lot of visibility on the community at large, but there is quite a substantial bit that we do miss just by the nature of there's a lot that happens in this community. So any kind of hidden light that you can shine onto things that we haven't gotten a chance to see, we're all here for it and trying to give the respect that everyone who puts all this effort in the community does so deserve.
Indeed. All right, and it definitely seems like we have the situation settled with the whole Corpy thing, and we might be able to move on to our next winners match, which might be.
I think we've got RKY and Jack, I believe, is our next match.
Oh, the land of Canada. Because I've seen RKY play a lot, and they're fairly strong Blitz player. And Jack I've also seen just as much, which from what I've heard for context, Jack might be able to participate in his last tournament of Tetrio, according to his retirement tweets, which he might be able to take after this tournament. How do you feel about that, Devo?
I mean, I definitely know there have been a number of players, especially stepping away for a little brief portion, either officially or just kind of maybe not really into competitive play at the moment and just gonna enjoy the time that I have and just play it casually as I see fit. Which again, for a lot of players, it's definitely a healthy decision to make. But we do obviously wish everyone best on their future endeavors, whether that be in or out of the Tetrio scene. And looks like I believe this is our warm-up match?
Yep, it is. In fact, wait, this is not warm-up. We are actually getting into this.
Oh, wait,
Jack
no.
is already... Oh,
okay,
Jack's all right. The bang!
Never mind, all right, guys.
Right, but getting into this, RKY is playing fairly low, and Jack is just looking to clear just about as little as he could in favor of building up that damage. And RKY is just taking their time with this. With this sort of play style, of course, with a bit of macro. Can't go wrong with a bit of macro.
Oh, absolutely not. Definitely liking RKY's decision. Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Are we going to see a 4-wide in game 1 for RKY?
RKY is building up to it and clears all that garbage as a result. Not exactly doing much damage, but puts him in a very favorable decision right now. Oh, that looks strong.
Oh, and there's the combo into the quad. RKY still keeps the back-to-back, and that's going to be the first round.
What a solid play by them. Of course, with a bit of patience, you can really do a lot with that sort of thing. And Jack, despite it being the very first round, they're going to need to really do a lot to set the set in favor of themselves. And RKY, the misdrop...
It was so sad because they had like an incredible spike going for them. Oh no, but Jack with an even worse misdrop on the T-piece. And just immediately closes off those burn options.
Yeah, Jack is really starting to struggle with this sort of thing, especially with the momentum that they never thought they would have to witness right now. And RKY, of course, starting with the PC, Jack has so much garbage to work with, but it definitely looks like they could turn it around and send RKY so much back. Oh, very good 10 spike by RKY too. Jack sending it all the way back too.
Prop. Wow, look how clean this is for Jack. 242 APM out of Jack with barely 3.5 pieces per second and really forcing their way, getting their foot in the door as they're able to take the first game off of RKY.
Oh, Jackie, my boy, taking that round like a champ.
Oh,
RKY,
are we gonna see 6-spin spike from RKY?
Ooh.
Little 6-spin spike. Oh, a little misdrop too.
Oh, but RKY could fix this. He could fix this.
Yep. There's time. All right.
And clean it
but Jack. Ah!
Oh, but they made it out. They made it out. That's pretty good for Jack.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
That was yeah. Please don't get that close to death without. Actually, I mean, always stay alive because that's great. But like, please don't tug on my heartstrings like that, Jack.
We get that healthcare is free in Canada, but not in America, buddy.
Not...
But anyways, RKY continuing with the down stack, getting 6 out of it. Jack gonna really set themselves pretty slow and low while RKY has a lot of
good bit of plonking from RKY. We can see both players are really taking the offense route this game. 3 pieces per second, about 140 from both. Sustained for a minute now. Jack, the skim options unfortunately run dry.
Oh god, that is so many options whittled down to just none. RKY is taking a pretty strong lead at the moment, and Jack is going to need to do a lot to really set this around, and RKY is just waiting for so many options to be fairly damaging to Jack, and Jack is just trying their best to handle this.
Ooh, a lovely kite-in as well to open things up. RKY wanted a clean transition over to the garbage well, but couldn't get one in time and just decided to say, we'll get the back-to-back later. Jack currently working with that side well. Gets a couple of T-spin doubles. Okay, a lot of garbage, but it's all clean, and they're going to send right back.
Oh, RKY barely making out.
Oh my goodness, the greed on the T-spin. No! The eyepiece misdrop. The greed was the correct play, but unfortunately, Divine Forces said no. And that's another quick game for Jack.
Oh, that is unfortunate for RKY, and Jack is being able to get their energy together, and RKY is not really too... Oh, very good dono by RKY too, and...
Oh, wait, combo through... yeah, not going to have an eyepiece there, unfortunately, at the end of the combo, but RKY is prepared to send another spike!
The patience from RKY!
Misdrop, and Jack beautifully timed. 165 APM out of them, and immediately the set is even 3-3. Almost to a Tetr League round. It's just a little extra bonus towards the end of her first to 8.
And RKY setting a pretty strong stick spin. Gonna have to wait a bit. Oh, this is a pretty good continuation too. Gets the bag to get a third one in there. Jack, very clever dono by them too. And they're continuing that multiplier spike too. This is a pretty healthy game for Jack. And RKY is having a really difficult time with this. Oh.
Yeah, just getting a couple of skims. However, Jack is also not really building up a terribly large back-to-back chain, so there's not a lot of need to do any kind of movements, you know, all of a sudden.
Oh! Oh, RKY gets it out just perfectly.
Oh, no, doesn't skim. I think Jack was initially trying to find a way to offset a little bit more garbage, but unfortunately a hole in, I believe, column 6 closed off that option, and RKY able to regain the lead, getting an all clear. A little bit of a misdrop as well, but skims, nothing that they cannot handle.
RKY is doing a pretty good job at setting all of this up, and this looks like an STSD setup, but chooses to downstack instead. Jack, looking for all of these skims, it definitely seems like he's doing the best he can to live for all of this cheese and the quad underneath, but chooses to downstack anyways. RKY is just trying, and I repeat, trying to do something with this board.
Well, thankfully, there's a little bit of clean garbage on both. The double eyepiece so strong. Going to be able to send a bit to Jack. Jack still has the least bit of clean and able to get down to it in time. RKY no, has to fail, unfortunately. It was building up a pretty substantial spike, but not able to get it out without playing too terribly risky. And Jack now trying to also build some stuff up in the center. We see the spike followed by another quad, but not going to push up RKY enough.
Oh, very good setup by Jack. Gonna be able to get the TSS out of there. And RKY is looking for a bit of back-to-back momentum, judging by the 7-2. This is pretty strong for that. And the garbage.
Oh, and it's still going.
That is perfect. And RKY is gonna keep up the momentum. It definitely seems like they're not too threatened. They're just really benefiting. They're really benefiting all for a lot.
Oh wow! And the mini T-spin single as well, getting as much damage as they possibly could out of it. But Jack is still able to keep this pressure going and force RKY to break the back-to-back.
Oh, Jack is clearly doing a lot to RKY, but RKY is,
Oh my goodness, oh, beautiful, what was it, the 180, I think, for the T-spin double.
Yeah, indeed, and Jack is just not really having all of this damage and just trying to find as much as they could, especially with this floating setup too. They're trying to do their best, and it's already 2 minutes
Oh
and the
my
15
goodness.
spike.
RKY has been doing such a creative job to clean up their stack, but even so, Jack's spikes have been so large and so destructive that RKY
God.
isn't really able to get too much momentum currently.
Oh my god, RKY with the T-spin 0 after that STSD. That is so little, but yet so effective. And Jack is not really feeling too dangered by RKY's playstyle, who's just looking to skim. I didn't know this was a flavor of milk, but I'm pretty sure RKY really likes that sort of thing. And Jack is
RKY skim options, careful. This margin time is starting to come in slowly but surely as we're approaching that 3-minute mark, and RKY has turned on the Jets and is just gonna go full APM if I were to guess.
All these players are going at their very best, and all these options are just trying to so desperately choose, and RKY getting that incomplete fractal out of the way. That's one misdrop. That's so scary for RKY.
No. And unfortunately, the extra spike from Jack will clean up the rest, and 4-4, we're back to an even game. It's a 1-7 + 2. Talk about Tetr League.
Oh, not
well,
just
actually, no, Tetr League doesn't have that, yeah. But
we're at a deuce point, Davo, and it definitely seems like they're trying their best to see who gets it first. And Jack looking like he might be able to take it, but RKY is not really having it. RKY looking pretty clean with that board, having a lot of garbage with that 6-3, a sprinter's paradise. And RKY is looking pretty comfy with the kiting too. Ooh.
Yeah, I was just going to work with a 9-0 currently.
And Jack
looking to make a lot of,
time.
Okay, and RKY immediately takes back that lead, says, I'm not going to let you run away with this set. No matter how hard you try, I'm always going to be one step ahead. The double all clear from both,
definitely not
all clear from both, and I believe this is just, the PCO loops from RKY.
Oh my god, RKY.
No, the misdrop.
Another one. Oh, the Z misspin was so unfortunate for RKY, but they're still holding on.
Oh, wait, is this going to be counter spike? Maybe? No!
No, not really, and Jack continues to tie it up. This is about as close as we can get. This is the technically first, but second match of the night.
Alright, I believe we're going to be seeing PC stick spin on the exchange, but a huge spike from RKY after that C-spin setup. And RKY once again continues to stay one game ahead. Jack trying desperately to see if they can shift some momentum. We see an MKO shift now instead of the PCO. Going to try and make sure that they're able to accept a little bit more garbage. No! And the eyepiece cuts!
RKY takes another, and Jack with the misdrop. Oh, no.
The eyepiece giveth and the eyepiece taketh. RKY now shifting off of the stick spin, as I believe Jack was just going to go into a little bit of regular freestyle. Gonna make sure. Wow, is this
Trinity?
Oh, the misdrop, unfortunately, and it's not gonna be more like 3 T-spins, but that is the 3 strikes you're out with 1 misdrop.
Oh, that is so unfortunate for RKY. He had a really amazing setup, but just flubbed it in. It was just an accidental misdrop. As a matter of fact, we've seen a lot of these misdrops from both of these players, but RKY is really starting to struggle a lot with that in these current matches. And
Jack has a really strong opening blitz currently going on. You can see the speed from them is just a little extra bit faster. However, RKY trying to see if they can get that counter spike going.
Oh, very good overhang and advance from Jack. He's gonna have to really find that eyepiece to get it down, but couldn't, unfortunately. This is looking very, very tight for Jack, but despite being pretty low on the board, despite both of them being a neutral, either could go any way, and Jack is looking for that option with the 14 spike. What is that overhang from RKY?
It is quite the overhang, but RKY, decent bit of downstack currently. Able to get quite a bit off of that. Sets up the fractal. Doesn't really have the best way to transition to that quad at the bottom of their stack, but could have been an insane downstack combo. Oh, wait, Jack's got 12 back. Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, Jack funneled so much. Yeah, Jack really funneled a lot with that sort of thing, and RKY is still taking that lead pretty strong despite it being a 2-point difference. I could
Ooh,
definitely see RKY.
TZ and S early on.
Ooh.
That's going to be the all clear.
Oh, that's
almost
beautiful.
a mirror board. No, RKY doesn't get the proper order. Can't make a 180 spin when there's no overhang. However, is handling the pressure expertly that Jack is sending in.
Uh-oh.
That's, oh my goodness, was almost a gifted all clear.
Almost
from
an
the
RNG
extra line of garbage.
PC for Jack, and he's still trying to hold on to it. Oh, does manage to find the T-spin overhang too. That's some pretty good finding for Jack, and RKY.
That's so greedy, but I think it's gonna pay off. It's just a beautiful 7-2.
Oh, and Jack, I don't think Jack can downstack that. Oh, nice.
Yep. And RKY able to bring the lead to 3. Currently leading 9 over Jack. 6 wins. The Z and Oda start, and look at this. We see the stick spin and SDPC.
Whoa.
But wait, nope. Was that SDP? Was that just like
that was an SDPC continuation that we have not seen?
I was gonna say that was just the not so common one, I guess. But I mean, it seems to be working quite well for Jack. I mean, RKY with a little bit of misdrop trouble.
With the PCs that we've seen from Jack, you could definitely see a lot of variety being put in there, and it's really paying off for Jack. Like, that's some pretty strong play by them, and RKY just clearly wasn't expecting it.
Okay, and early, I think we've got LNJ to start. We see MKO and Stick Spin coming out from both players. Will we see that C-Spin spike? No, we're just going to clear through it regularly. However, a little bit of downstack potentially. RKY trying to see if they can work their way into a spike. Ooh. Jack with a little bit of difficulty there at the top, but able to clean things up rather swiftly.
God, RKY looking with all these setups, choosing not to rely on that I-spin and in favor of just another T-spin. And Jack is clearly trying to send just a bit of cheese to RKY. Judging by the board state, they're really sending a lot with these T-spins. The kind earlier from Jack is really starting to pay off, but gonna have to break it, unfortunately. And oh no, the funneling from Jack too, especially with that I. You don't want that, but Jack doesn't seem too pressured by it. And RKY is just having the game of their life, because look at that board. Not exactly a Kaiden setup, but chooses to rely on downstacking. It definitely seems like RKY is relying more on that consistent, patient pressure that they so want, and that back-to-back is really starting to work for them. But the team misdrop! That's going to break it, unfortunately. Oh god, RKY is starting to skim a lot with this sort of thing, and Jack is clearly trying to find a pretty good option here. As a matter of fact, that setup, that looks pretty clean for Jack. The extra T overhang dono from Jack too. That's enough damage to send to RKY, and now they have an 8th point on the set. The Battle of Canada is really starting to crawl into Jack's hands despite being a point behind. And RKY is still looking pretty strong, especially with the stick spins that we've seen from them. And Jack is not exactly having a good time with this. This is match point for RKY. Oh, this could go either way. Oh, Jack with the PC. 2-line PC. This is going to interfere with RKY stick spin. Oh, but very good recovery by RKY. Does in fact have the extra T overhang to boot, and Jack just couldn't believe what they saw. I think that might be it. That's greed. Oh my god, Jack. Jack? Oh no, Jack! Jack with the misdrop. Oh my god, that's one piece behind, and RKY takes it. Oh, the 2 eyepieces. Oh, that is so unfortunate. The greed too from from Jack. Gonna be able to really kill Jack into loser's bracket. And RKY takes the Battle of Canada in this set. Very strong by them, but still. Good games by both of these players, and Fortism showing a bit of Canadian representation in chat. So, how do you feel about this match? How was that match going for both of these players? Davo? You're not talking. I think his mic's broke. Davo?
Dang it, I had it muted. All right, well, I'm here again.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
But you were saying? I thought I was lagging. Oh, my God.
It's okay. I promise. I've got. It's only Midwest ping. All right, it's not that bad.
Listen, I'm. So are you saying Midwest requires 2 minutes of ping? Wow, that's unfortunate. But either way, you were saying about that, Matt?
Yeah. So again, if you're able to go back to those stats at the end of the match, and again, we will be trying to save every single replay that we can, as well as the stream broadcast as well on top. I mean, both Jack and RKY were like dead evenly matched in both speed and efficiency, which was really hard to believe that there was still that decent bit of a separation towards the end of the set. But RKY's strategy of just, continue to have that lead and prevent Jack from getting an edge. And again, in the end, that was kind of what made the difference, was just having that lead. 3 games up with only 2 left to go, and 2 wins for both solidifies RKY's win.
Mental pressure, I'll say so myself.
Always more pressure that can be dealt rather than just the, in the game per se.
Yeah, because it's all about doing damage to your opponent in every single way than one, Because RKY is still managing to take that win, but Jack clearly had a lot of defensive options that allowed him to get plenty of sets and even tied it up like several times. This doesn't happen just once, this happens multiple times, especially in a close set like this. But still, RKY taking the set, Jack put up a good fight. Jack still has a second chance, and definitely looks like Corpy's situation seems to be resolved as that set was going.
We're fingers crossed, all right?
I hope to God that it ends up being. I hope to goodness that Corpy still manages to make it about plenty of rounds without lagging. But shoutouts to Osk for boosting the Korean servers, and hopefully, this goes into Corpy's favor of being able to play on a lagless connection. And I think Nuke is like what, 1 point still, and Corpy's like 5.
I believe, yeah. If we're gonna go off of the set as is, I believe it was 1-4. I believe we're just gonna resume from there again at that point. Not really anything more to be concerned with, I think, at this point in time.
Right. And it definitely looks like instead of 5, we're gonna go with 4-1. And of course, like I said, shoutouts to Osk for helping to carry the servers around and help fix Corpy's laggy connection, especially when it comes to Tetr. But since now that's resolved,
it's not every day you can have a spotty connection and just call the dev up and be like, hey, I need some help. Can you give me a little bit of extra connection boost? Thank you very much.
In favor of this tournament, and before we get started, we are going to see Mute misdrop a lot, as we saw earlier. Gonna see who'll be able to press faster.
Yep. And it looks like, yeah, we're still seeing Corpy able to get quite a few of the hard drops out of the way. So I do think the lag, especially on Muke's perspective, is going to be rather minimal. Which, especially considering the previous events, is going to be a huge deal for them, able to have a better idea of what Corpy is going to be doing at all times.
And it definitely looks like he's seamless about it too, because look at the soft drop speed. That is actual usual fall speed, not just frozen. There's no zero gravity mode, and definitely looks like Corpy is gonna misdrop for themselves, and we are gonna continue with Corpy versus Muke 4-1. Corpy's still in a pretty strong lead.
Ooh, early eye to start. Okay, we have the good luck, have fun's going through.
Well, all right, I got patience. No. Okay, I was gonna say...
No, Corpy was messaging. I think Muke didn't take any chances.
Oh.
Muke was like, it's not happening again. We're not doing this. No.
I was going to lose it if Corpy ended up lagging once again.
Again, I don't think you can see the in-game chat on stream, but Corpy said, have luck, have good, instead of good luck, have fun by accident. And then corrected it. And now they are... Wait, is there a skim option? No way, Corpy.
No, but Muke already has enough pressure to kill anyways.
Oh, Mike.
Oh,
and that's
goodness.
2 very quick games for Muke trying to claw their way back through this.
All right, Corpy being able to play it at his own speed, especially with the soft drop speed, which we see not so often in this tournament. Not even in general tournament play do we see a soft drop speed this slow, and Muke is really starting to put the lead back in their favor despite the slow rounds from Corpy. But Corpy seems to be getting the hang of it now thanks to the new server boosting.
I think. Oh, okay, yeah, Muke definitely has quite a bit of hefty garbage currently. Has the speed to try and get down through to it. Okay, eyepieces are just in time.
This is looking good for Muke. Gonna have to waste a bit of a board efficiency to get to that quad, and Corpy is having the back-to-back time of their life, because look at this.
Almost misdropped it, but still able to keep it going, and that's gonna open up the center. Finally breaks back-to-back, but tries to go for golds. Unfortunately, Muke has enough survivability where they're able to tank it.
Muke.
All it takes 3 games with the new server boost, and Muke able to immediately pull it back 4-4. And yet another sailboat we see out of Muke.
And I thought that would be Puffawuff's thing. But it definitely seems like Muke is just taking that influence into stride, especially with those wins that they've been taking, and Corpy's going to need to do a lot to really turn this around.
Oh my goodness, Muke, look at this burst APM. We're seeing 4 pieces per second. There's a fractal as well.
Yeah, Corpy can't exactly dig through all of this if Muke just keeps up the pressure, and finally they take the lead.
That is crazy.
Once again, sailboat. And Corpy going for some usual T-spin setups, but ooh, I think that misdrop from the L is going to be very costly.
Well, but okay, Muke also has a misdrop, so Corpy's not going to be in too bad of a situation. So gonna actually has relatively clean garbage as well, and that opens up beautifully. However, Muke is frantically building up through the 6-3 stack that they have for themselves, gets to another lower garbage well, and is going to continue to try to extend this back-to-back. We see 8, the magic number, and these, no, unfortunately has to break it. Corpy gets that pressure out. Beautiful timing to make sure that Muke can't capitalize as much as they would like to.
Oh, this is looking pretty scary for Corpy, because Muke's stack is looking mighty dangerous in the misdrop.
Oh, the S pieces look like they made a little staircase there, unfortunately, but that is, I believe, 5 straight for Muke. I mean, it can't be a reverse sweep, but this is quite literally, if Muke keeps playing at this pace, like 4.5 pieces per second opening burst, I mean, Corpy is just running out of their options.
Oh, this is so unfortunate for Corpy. They had a pretty strong pretty strong early game, but now they're just really struggling against Muke's sudden burst of consistency, and Corpy just doesn't have the speed to really give it back, but it seems like they're trying. And Muke is just building all these setups. The fractal, too, is just... This is humiliating.
Oh, no, Muke has to be careful. Alright, skim options do come out, but there is a little bit of cheese. It's not going to be the easiest garbage to get through, but because of that speed advantage, Muke able to do so rather swiftly.
Oh.
And Corpy... Oh, but Corpy, though, does have decent... Oh, no, the back-to-back now is gone. Skim options are still alive, though, and decent bit of clean garbage again because of how much Muke is sending. Corpy is going to have a much easier time trying to get through the garbage since it will be very clean.
Corpy's going to have to wait for that T-spin. Going to have to
Oh, the spike, though, from Corpy.
And Muke is being pressured. Oh, God.
Unfortunately, they couldn't follow up with any other attack, so Muke able to get out rather scot-free.
Definitely looks like both of these players are not exactly in a friendly position, but Muke with a mid-game PC. But Corpy ain't having it.
Oh, wait, is Muke going to try and combo through this? No, unfortunately, not the best P sequence for it.
Oh, this is a pretty
center
juicy
will play. There's
going
to be the spike. The 3 wides.
Oh, very good prophecy by Corpy, too. Gonna have to boomerang it instead. Not exactly boomerang, but in some sort of way. Gonna have to put that L somewhere. Or J. Mark my words. But it definitely looks like Muke is... Oh, that's a very good find for that TST, and... Of course, gonna have to get to that T-spin 0 to make that stack as clean as they want to be, and Corpy is going back to building back-to-back. This is looking pretty strong.
Unfortunately, had to break it. Needed a little too many eyepieces if they wanted to keep that back-to-back.
Yeah, Corby making one misdrop to break the combo, and Muke is gonna
Oh, wow,
capitalize off that.
19! Corpy, come on! It's almost there! Wow, gets the dig! Combos
There's
into the
no
quad
way
and
he
is all the
wins
way
that.
back down!
Oh my
And
god,
Corpy now, oh no, a little misdrop though. You can never celebrate too early.
Oh my god, both these players back in neutral, but this is so scary. This is a 2-minute game. Both of these players could go out in either way, but it definitely seems like, especially in neutral, when you have fundamentals on the line if you're both of these players, and these misdrops from Corpy, you definitely don't want that if you're that said player. This is so stressful.
Oh man, Corpy is making a lot of very airtight decisions on this down stack, but is doing so with such knowledge of what their board stack is going to look like and working around the garbage to make sure that they always have an out.
Oh, Corpy.
Oh, the 16. And that's going to be another game to Muke, but not after a very hard-fought win of nearly 3 minutes.
Oh, poor Corpy. He has half the amount of points that Muke has, but...
Ooh, all clear though from Corpy. A second one. All right, let's see, because obviously a little bit earlier, Muke was getting a lot of momentum off of some very quick early game blitzes.
Corpy gonna have to make some very funky looking donos right here to fix themselves. And Muke is just still sending so much very good prophecy by Corpy. Oh god. And Muke is still down stacking through all of this.
Yeah, gotta be a little careful. Oh, what is this? Oh, okay. For a sec, I saw the like one row of flat garbage on the right, and like at this point, I've seen so many players go for like T-spin triple towers over. I just assumed Muke was going for it. But thankfully did not make the dangerous decision, especially considering how much Corpy has done a phenomenal job with timing their attacks and making sure any opening that Muke has, that they're looking at their hardest to try and snuff it out.
Yeah, and Corpy is definitely doing their best, as we so see from this set. The switchback from them gonna do just a bit of work to really send a lot. But Muke, of course, not really gonna let that happen to them, and Corpy needs at least one...
Oh, Muke tried to do more overhangs for those T-spins, but thankfully sent enough pressure early on that even a little bit of hesitation not going to be getting in the way of another victory for them. And Muke, I think, just really over that extra... Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a triple fractal from Muke. That looks pretty scary if you're especially Corpy right now, who doesn't want to be sent with too much damage, but Muke is already doing it.
And yeah, again, Muke worked really well with the early game blitz. I think they're definitely trying to continue that strat. A little bit scary though. Corpy now also has some very clean garbage, and Muke was not able to get a crazy amount of momentum off early on. We do see the combo, and unfortunately no all clear just yet for Muke. Definitely going to be looking for one. Oh, they're still trying to find it, but is going to be met with some more garbage. And unfortunately, that all clear is going to be getting further and further away. However, very nice timed spike. And Corpy is ready for it.
Very good defense game by both of these players, but Muke
oh my goodness, and Corpy!
But Corpy is still living.
And it doesn't matter how much a spike is going to be, as long as Corpy has enough to stay alive, that's all that matters. And Corpy now, as reached the bottom of their stack, is going to try and continue to build up with very little resistance from Muke. T-spin single as well, beautiful find, able to try and maximize their APM even further. Oh, but gonna have to get a down stack here. This is gonna be risky.
I don't think Corpy is gonna make it out.
And look at the APM just skyrockets from Muke up to 160, and it is now match point for them, about to try and get 10 wins straight if they so possibly can.
Oh boy, Muke is just having the game of their lives, and Corpy is really starting to try to turn this around. They were just only 4 points!
No, a little bit of greed there on Corpy. Thought they could get that eyepiece in time, but unfortunately not gonna happen. I mean, in all honesty, I want to see the stats that Muke was pulling from the beginning of that set when that first began. Because I think Muke, like, legitimately during that break just, like, went through and just, like, that was, like, the textbook definition of, okay, so this wasn't working. I'm going to go to the drawing board and see exactly what I did wrong, and just completed the download onto Corpy and just ran away with it like it was an entirely different set.
Oh, that was dirty coming from you. And Corpy, with the major technical difficulties, just not enough to recover, unfortunately, and that's really saying a lot. And even though Corpy held up a good fight, it's just the momentum was completely lost the moment Nuke started to take all of those rounds for themselves, and oh, that's so unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Alright, yeah, but I'm looking for, let's see. I'm not entirely sure what our next match is going to be just yet, but I believe that is... are we doing all of the round 1 matches? I don't know, I think we have a couple of those running too, didn't we? I believe so.
We do. We've got Tagayats and Fortism taking their sets. Tagayats gonna fight RKY and Fort gonna fight Nuke. So if I could just look real quick.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We'll be sure to plug this as well. If you're looking for bracket links, worlds.tetra.io, I believe just /brackets, but you can also find it from the main page as well if you go down to Group C. And yeah, definitely starting to see a couple of these really starting to pan out. So obviously, yep, we'll be having our winners round 2 match. I believe we're probably just going to keep Nuke in here, grab Fortism as well, and see how Fortism is going to do. I believe in their first match, a solid 11-2 over UI Galaxy in order to solidify another step closer for them, and they're qualifying into our top 16. Ford obviously would love to be able to win this pool and make it through to winner's side, which I believe would put them in a relatively solid spot for top 16. However, I do think, yeah, honestly, looking at bracket, I think both the just in general, making it out of this set is not a terrible spot to be, considering, you know, the 16 people that will have qualified are going to be very, very difficult to beat anyways, but...
Yep, and it definitely seems like we've seen some fairly strong, you know, sets from a lot of these players, and by looking at Fort, I've seen their like boost in stats and in terms of qualifications lately, especially when it comes to a game like Tetr. And seeing Fortism take a pretty strong third-seeded spot, even after a lot of second place, third place, like major tournaments, it looks pretty promising for Fort, and Muke is gonna have to play a bit focused in order to take care of Fort's very blitzy ultra playstyle, which we've seen plenty of world records from them before. And as a matter of fact, they're a top 5 sprinter and top 2 blitz player. As a matter of fact, they are former world record holders, which is pretty nice for them. So seeing them have all of these setups and seeing all of these openers from Fort is going to look pretty good, as with that kind of knowledge, it can really work well in terms of freestyling. But Muke is able to really put a lot of T-spin back-to-back pressure, and not to mention the 7-2-6-3 setups that they so commonly use in all of these plays is going to be fairly close despite the seeding.
And again, I mentioned this before as well. Like, Fortism is one of the players that I really love getting to watch in Tetr events. They've been struggling a lot trying to get those, you know, top spots and really maximize their points for the TWC qualifying. But finally, towards the end of, you know, September, October events, really found their stride and was able to do a fantastic job getting that 3rd seed. And looks like we're going to be, I forget what. Fortism always goes for, like, they'll either go for some of the... Actually, no, that's even a lie. Because Fortism sometimes will go for, like, very common openers every now and then other times will just, like, bring something out of left field to just try and catch their opponent off guard. And I think that might have been one of them, or I just didn't see it right. But...
Muke! Not going to be able to recover from that, but... Judging by the wildcard comment that you really make, Fortism is really good at being able to see all of these options. Like I've mentioned about his freestyling, he's able to see a lot of these patterns and just make the most of it in these kinds of situations. And because Fort has been known for being a fairly strong blitz player and being able to use a lot of these openers countlessly, not just in a single-player Tetris, but in multiplayer Tetris, they have been relatively pretty unpredictable, especially for someone like Nuke, who is going up against the former world record holder of Blitz. So it's going to be a lot to take in, but I could definitely see a lot of rounds being taken from by Muke, and Fort is going to play as fast as they could at 3-point PPS, but Muke is playing faster. And Fort is...
I think Fort was just plonking a little bit. Has a little bit of just, able to wait there, and decent, nice blitz. They always have that, like, STSD after a couple of T-spin doubles early on in the bag. I don't know if it's a specific opener, but this one I do know is SDPC, and we see Fort's blitzing it out at 4 pieces per second. The DPC comes out, but the PC is denied, and Muke gets enough retaliation off in time to make sure that that is no longer on the table, but it's still not over for Muke.
Very good mini continuation by Fort. Going to be able to get this started with this 9-0 stack. Taking their time a bit, going to have to break it. And Muke is starting a back-to-back chain of their own, hoping to get more out of it compared to Fort, but going to have to fix this up a bit, but has to break it, unfortunately. Fort, all these misdrops, all these holes are really starting to not look good for them. And
yeah, gotta be careful. No, and the 1-2-3 misdrop.
Yeah,
and Muke, just immediately takes another one.
Yeah, that one single mistake can really snowball into a pile of them, and especially if you're Fort, you don't want to make those said mistakes. And Muke is really making a lot for what's due, but...
Fort with the blocking, just waiting on those T-spins. Unfortunately, miskicks the S-piece afterwards, so a little bit of a sloppy ending to it, but Fort able to clean things up, again, just very quickly and not wasting any time to get back to delivering that sweet, sweet APM over to Muke's side.
Muke is really starting to look for this continuation, and in fact they do. And Fortism is really
the miscounts! And unfortunately, there was one extra row for that T-spin double, so it didn't go off as planned. And Fort was not very happy about that.
Yeah, just really groaning at the fact that this match could have been favorable, but, you know, you can't really snowball all these mistakes into one, and Muke is really going to put on all of that mental pressure onto Fort.
Mike, look at Muke blitzing this out, almost 4.5 pieces per second, 230 APM. But again, Fort is one of the strongest players at being able to retaliate, even from the jaws of defeat.
The C-spin from Fort is going to tie it back up.
And just immediate retaliation from Fort, 2-2, keeping things even and making sure that, you know, Fort definitely coming in as the predicted winner for it, but not going to give Muke much of a chance to do much else if they can help.
Very good continuation by Fort with that reliable TSD. Gonna make a floating, and Muke is not really too frightened by all this pressure.
Wow, what a donation out of Fort! I have never seen that prop before, but was just done so effortlessly and with zero delay, and had quite a bit of extra damage multiplying on it, but able to keep that back-to-back.
Fort not going to be able to donate another one, of course going for the 0, and Muke is not going to skim through all of that. Fort is taking back that lead 3-2, and they got about 8 more rounds in order to secure it, and we're going to see how this goes.
Fort, I think might have been a little bit of misdrop on the opener game, but again, you can see Muke doesn't really have a specific opener in mind. It's more of just get that 6-3 stack up and running. Where there's a little bit of a TP strought currently, I think had a lot of early T pieces and just put out a lot of pressure early on. Fort has the sidewell that they're able to try and work with some pieces.
Oh my god, Muke is really starting to stride to their best. And of course, this is in fact, I apologize for background noise, but this is in fact sprinting versus blitz. This is a very interesting matchup to look at. Muke with the misdrop. Very good fix.
But again, if there's anything that Fort is extremely talented at doing, it's having the game knowledge from every perspective possible. You said it yourself earlier, top 5 sprinter and blitzer. So if your opponent's worried about trying to cheese you with some speed, Fort has it covered. If your opponent's going to try and have some blitzing PC games, Fort also has you covered. And if you're going to try and deliver a massive mid-game spike, I believe Fort still has you covered. And that's going to be another game for Fort, 4-2. And fantastic stuff from them. And going through, let's see, Muke probably going to have another attempt at early game blitz. Unfortunately, missed holds on an eyepiece, so might make things a little bit more strenuous.
And Fort is having the time of their lives with this setup. The 6-3 is pretty strong for them. Gonna have to do a very interesting TSS dono, and Muke is...
Oh, low misdrop, okay.
And Muke is clearly gonna have to funnel and delay for a combo, which he so emphatically does. And Fort is really starting to figure out what to do right now.
Oh, okay, gets a lot of garbage, but the counter spike. And that's going to do...
Send.
And that's yet another one for Fort, able to really start to get their momentum. That's 4 straight from them. Putting the 4 in Fort. We see this SDPC, and we can see a bit of the blitz gaming coming out from Fort. Going to try and beat Muke at their own game. But again, one line of garbage is going to shut it down, but it doesn't shut Fort down. And there's going to be... Oh my... Wait, is that a... Muke!
Very interesting dono by Muke. Being able to live through all of that. Fortism not going for the T-spin as they still saw the vision for it, but they have to rely on just getting down.
Oh my lord, Fort the greed! Just... Wow, and the down stack as well. Fort really getting to flex their mental muscle with this in every facet possible, and able to really put some pressure onto Muke even through the art of incredible down stack. And now both players look to be under a little bit more comfortable board states. Fort with that 09 stack, sorry. Well, now it's transitioning over to the center well. Oh my goodness, and preparing the mid-game DT, going into a 3-wide.
To do it, Fort.
And if you're looking for a mid-game DT cannon, Fort has you covered with another win, 6-2, and it looks like we're going to be seeing potentially a little more blitz from Fort. However, the all-clear is not fast enough, an unfortunate misdrop.
God.
And Muke, with a very strong statement, pushing it to 3-6, going to try and regain some momentum. All right, and TKI looks like from both almost identical board states, but not quite, as they both go into a little bit different in the continuation. Fort going to be working through. Beautiful spin to help work with that garbage. Going to have to rebuild up back-to-back, though, in the process. And a lovely dono to keep back-to-back. So with very strong counters. Unfortunately, gets stuck with the double J. And Fort is going to take yet another game.
Fort is just really, really taking it with that lead, especially 4 points ahead of Muke, who has taken a couple games off of it, sure, but not to this kind of extreme, as Fort is just playing like a madman. I don't know how to feel about this, and Fort is just sending so much damage, and Muke has so much clean and sends it all the way back to Fort. This is a tug of war of complete damage.
My goodness, Fort was thinking about that T-spin triple. They saw an opportunity for it, but they did not have a strong continuation and decided against it.
But Muke with those misdrops too. This could be very costly.
Yeah, and they've been countering a lot, but still having to accept. So a decent bit of that garbage was cheese, but able to still get through it so fast. 3 pieces per second is all you need.
Oh, but speaking of misdrops, Fort is just suffering from so much of it. The snowballing is key for losing a round because you don't want to be on the receiving end of being misdropped like so many different pieces. You don't want to be like Fort. You just want to.
All right, and Fort going for the this decides not to send the STSD all at once, but is still doing a fantastic job keeping this up. Gonna get the IP skim, a little bit of greedy building, trying to get some back-to-back early on. Not quite going to pay off, but still not in a terrible board state, as Muke has a misdrop that they have to clean up, and that is going to halt some of their progress momentarily.
Oh, Muke with that beautiful down stack. And of course, Fort is... Oh my god, Fort is building all of these amazing setups and does in fact open up the garbage hole in advance.
Muke went for the 180! Oh, it's not going to do it just in time, unfortunately. And Fort able to bring things 8-4 now within 3 games of advancing through to, I believe, the quote-unquote winners finals, I believe, of Pool C.
I really like that opener from Muke, but I don't think it's really enough to do it much, but he's still managing to make it out. But...
Oh, gets to the eyepiece again, just barely. Oh, but there's still so much garbage coming in from Fort. 11 back-to-back.
Fort is continuously taking point after point in this set, and Fort with these very strong openers by them, SDPC and Reliable. We just seen so many.
Yeah, not quite gonna combo through, but the eyepiece is coming a beautiful time for Fort, and the counter spike pushes it 4-10. Once again, Fort only needs one more if they want to continue forward. Muke definitely has their work cut out for them, and I believe goes for a sailboat, but unfortunately misdrops it. As we see the BT cannon come out from Fort, gets the PC loop, and is still going to be blitzing out the opener at 4.5 pieces per second. Finally gives up as the all clear is off the table, but Fort is still playing clean.
Striding from Fort, the BT secure the set. Fort takes it.
And if you, as like me, are looking for the BT loops at high level, Fort has you covered 11-4 as Fort takes yet another set and advances forward, which I believe should put them at bare minimum. I believe I think out of their next 2 matches, they only need to win 1, and they will qualify for top 16. Winning the next would guarantee it for them, but at the rate of performance that we just saw out of Fort, I don't see any reason why they should be worried.
Oh my god, what a set for Ford. Being able to play at their 100%. Muke, of course, taking a set off of Fort B must have felt good, but when you're playing against the top seeded player in the group, it's very hard to contest, but Muke really had it all with that kind of match, especially taking a lot of plays that could really secure it, but with Fort taking a bit of growing pains, it's really hard to get used to it if you're taking the set from the start. So seeing Fort secure it altogether is a really good mental state of mind to take, especially if you're on a on the opposing end, just starting to lose so many points. But Fort taking it back is always good to hear because you don't want to tilt in a tournament scene, and definitely looks like Muke was also trying to stay level-headed about that, but Fort with the speed is really hard to take it. But
I mean, anyone who's able to blitz out openers 4.5 pieces per second is going to be lethal, but Muke knows that as well, and was able to blitz out a little bit of their own freestyle stacking at that same speed, and we saw a couple other wins during that set, where just from catching Fort off guard, obviously expecting Fort to shake things up very frequently, and just saying, you know what, I'm going to try and out-blitz the blitz player to see if that's a potential option, and just a little bit of striking offense here at the right time was able to get them a couple wins, but that consistency from Fort, again, I think out of a lot of the top players, Fort is one of the hardest players to cheese because they have such vast game knowledge, the ability to play fast and efficient, regardless of which performance or which kind of opener they play off of, makes it so lethal because you never know what they're going to do next. And getting 4 games off of a player like that really speaks miles onto what Muke was able to do on their own.
And that really does say a lot for players at a very low seed, but congrats to Fort for taking it. We will be seeing Muke in the losers bracket, but we shall move on to our bottom half of winners round 2, which is going to be Gaiates versus RKY, second best in Canada versus number 1 in Brazil. This is going to be very, very fun. The best player in Brazil versus the second best player in Canada. This is going to be very, very fun, because look at that graph from Tagayats.
And again, like some people may be wondering, they're like, wow, Tagayats has a lot of really strong stuff to say for them. Why are they C51? Well, fun fact, the qualifying cutoff for TWC was around, I think, 70, like low 70s, high 60s in points. And Tagayats qualified literally on the last TWC major with a second place finish, which gives you 85 points. So all they needed was that one tournament, and that was just it from them.
And Tagayats is looking pretty confident about this as we ever so get started with the match already. No warm-ups, no fuss, no muss. We are going into this match already, and Tagayats is giving it their all. Pretty confident about this qualification and this group, seeing if they can take down the number two best Canadian player in the entire scene. And RKY is continuously adding so much pressure, but I think that was a mishold by them, and Tagayats takes the first round already. Looking pretty strong. Strong indeed.
Alright, S and L to start. Could be a very nice BT cannon, but it looks like we're just going for the all clears. Neither player goes to get it. Actually, I don't think it was there, unfortunately. But at the very least, both players find their way into a comfortable mid-game as a result.
Ooh, I like Tagayats setup over here. RKY clearly gonna have to fix a lot with this board. That almost looked like a Fen setup, but not really. Oh, but RKY starting to struggle a lot with this amount of defense as Tagayats just overwhelms them, taking the second point. Oh boy. And
looking through things, we have the all clear and stick spin openers coming from both. Beautiful continuation from RKY, but Tagayats has very little garbage on the board despite all of the APM that RKY has been sending.
Yeah, and RKY is just funneling that garbage hole so much. Gonna have to.
Oh my gosh, the donations, but unfortunate misrotation on RKY's side. Would have had a crazy kind of a spike, but still able to get quite a bit of it off. Unfortunately, means that Tagayats is going to be able to get out, find that out, and get back down.
Oh, Tagayats! Oh, Tagayats! That was some very dirty setup play by them, and RKY is really fumbling so hard with this. It's gonna take a miracle to turn this around, and
ooh, okay, all clear, but MKO from Tagayats, and beautiful transition over to the garbage. It makes a perfect 6-3, and the spike 200 APM out of Tagayats, and even RKY is just not really figuring out what is the option in order to take Tagayats down.
It's just Tagayats sending so much damage. It's just the one thing that's scary about playing them, and Tagayats being a consistently amazing player in the current scene right now is really scary to deal with, especially for someone like RKY. Very good downside by them. Gonna need to really open up that well to do a lot more damage than that. And Tagayats is not too affected by it, which is kind of scary to see if you're someone like RKY.
Oh, but RKY with the blitz finds a beautiful way to carry through that sidewall garbage. Oh, but Tagayats is still alive. It's not going to be enough for the top out. And Tagayats returning with a beautiful counter spike. Fractal into quad. And that's 5-0 out of Tagayats, almost reaching the halfway point for them.
This is looking pretty good for the Brazilian newcomer. I wouldn't necessarily say newcomer, but for this kind of player.
Oh no, the misdrops on the donation!
Oh god, RKY! Oh, they're making so many flubs. It's just not looking good for RKY, and Tagayats is looking heavily strong in this matchup.
Early T piece, the MKO PC find from Tagayats, RKY just going for the PC and going to get it traditionally. But you can see there's a lot more APM coming out of Tagayats. A misdrop on RKY might turn off some skim options, and it looks like it does, unfortunately for them.
Oh, the nerves from RKY. It's just looking so bad, and Tagayats is continuing to go on and on and on. The number one best player in Brazil is just having the number one best Brazil player of the life. And it definitely seems like they're just taking it to the best they can, and RKY is just trying to play as fast as they could. Their speed is trying to be... Their speed is
oh
trying
my
to be
goodness, the pressure from Tagayats is forcing RKY into a bunch of very airtight situations. A misdrop might potentially close things out due to the follow-ups that Tagayats is able to pull off. 4 pieces per second, 180 APM, and it's 8-0 currently for Tagayats, 3 games away from getting a sweep and trying to go and tackle Fortissim for who is going to get their guaranteed spot in top 16.
Oh, very good 20 free spike by RKY. This is going to be able to stop the sweep, but Tagayats is going to deny all of that in just a matter of time. And Tagayats is looking pretty safe with all these options. Canceling, sending. It definitely seems like their brain is just set to that kind of mode to begin with. And RKY is just trying to play for their life.
Oh, the fin from RKY! Is that enough to take it? Tagayats has the skim options. RKY desperately trying to get a follow-up, but Tagayats has the out.
Yeah, RKY really needs to do something about this setup. Tagayas is still playing with that defense game. RKY being a fairly setup-heavy player, it's just not going to do justice if you're someone like RKY playing against someone who is known for the downstacking and the efficiency altogether.
Oh, and a sudden 12 spike. And that, again, RKY is not able to take a lot of garbage if they're able to try and continue pattern stacking and upstacking. And Tagayas, that's 9-0. RKY, we see, goes to the stick spin, accepts some garbage, sends off quite a hefty bit of it, tries to get Tagayas on the ropes, and it looks like it might potentially be successful. RKY opens up to their clean garbage.
Oh, don't tell me about the sweep. Oh god, Tagayas is really
It's 260 APM out of RKY.
He's trying to get back into the mood of things. RKY is sending
28
so much.
spike! And it looks like that's going to cut it off. The anti-sweep is complete. A crazy amount of execution, but RKY finally finds a bit of rhythm after that stick spin opener. Likely going to have to continue to go with it, but unfortunate T-piece misdrop puts him in a terrible position early on. Waiting for an I-piece, and unfortunately comes very late.
Oh my god, RKY is starting to get back into the groove of things, but at the same time, they're still making all these misdrops, which is something that they don't want, especially with this kind of playstyle. And Tagayas is really looking to capitalize on that sort of thing, and they're just still going. They're still going with all of this LST pressure, the fractals and everything. It's just, it's so scary. It's so scary having to deal with this on the opposing end. This doesn't have to be just RKY, it could be anyone.
Man, and 10-1 Tagayas, 11 games in and has only dropped one, is really trying to see if they can run away with it. It looks like a PC opener for both players. Gonna be trying to get the second. Tagayas is a little bit faster though.
RKY is really gonna have to fix this kind of board. I think that might be it. That might be it.
Oh, the down stacking, come on. RKY really trying to push through.
Oh my god, RKY barely makes it alive, and Tagayas.
That's going to be a second for RKY. This would be quite the comeback of the century if RKY is able to bring it to deuce. They would need 8 straight, but maybe with the power of stick spin and a little bit of luck, they can pull some magic out of their hats.
RKY needs a miracle. Tagayas is just still looking pretty strong with this lead, and Tagayas with the downstack pressure, it's going to be so stressful for them.
Okay, the misdrop though, RKY gets through it.
Oh my god, RKY downstacking a lot, but Tagayas had some more. He has more. That could have been an improv setup, but Tagayas might have made a mistake right there, but RKY is being able to get off scot-free. RKY gonna look to fix this very cheesy, heavy-looking board. Oh god, RKY! Oh, this is not looking good. Tagayas is playing so low. Look at that clean, efficient 9-0 gaming from Tagayas. He's gonna need that T-spin. He's gonna need that pressure. RKY is just still going.
Ooh, sets up the mid stack Kaiden, but RKY, we see a 7-2. A little bit of pattern stacking. They might be able to boost some speed and efficiency.
Oh no!
No, the misdrop T! And that's gonna do it.
Tagayas takes a pretty strong, favorable game. RKY, unfortunately, dropping down into loser's bracket, and Tagayas is finally going to get to fight the best in Canada. Holy moly.
But, I mean, yeah, you can see it as well in the post-game analysis. 3.91 PPS, 180 APM. Just an incredible amount of advantage that Tagayas is able to maintain, whether that be in speed or in damage. Likely, I think RKY might have been able to win that efficiency game, but a lot of times involved relying on an opener game in order to get to that point. And so as long as Tagayas was able to really get out into the mid-game and out in sprinting, it was just, you know, the war of attrition there, and the fastest sprinter will win.
Yep. And this learns a lesson for a lot of people watching at home. Don't trust a win probability by the seed. Trust the stats.
Of course.
I mean,
like there are not many players that were able to qualify off of like just one event. I mean, granted, there are players that obviously were, you know, like we had 68 tournaments, so 68 people technically could have qualified with the first place finish. But logistically speaking, there are very few players that were like willing to just play one game and just qualify off of that itself. But
CZ.
But Tagayat's just really starting to make things look easy, and Fort might have a pretty difficult time if Tagayat's is able to burst out just as fast as Fort is. They might have to rely on a couple of other strategies if they're going to want to continue through.
Absolutely. Having to play against the best blitzer in the entire bracket right now is going to be a lot to take in, and Fortism is going to have the time of their lives when playing against someone of their caliber, especially with this kind of speed. But of course, as much as we love to see a lot of winners, we're going to see who gets to go out.
We'll be seeing one winner out of the top 6 for this particular for this group. However, remember, anyone who makes it into Grand Finals will be advancing into our top 16. But again, it could be a very difficult run depending on your round 1 or round 2 matchups. So always trying to get wins now will make your life easier later in bracket.
Right. And it definitely seems like we have a lot of close matchups and losers. We have RKY Corpy. Of course, Corpy known for their slow efficiency, and RKY known for their blitzing. Nuke known for their speed, and Unnamed. This is Unnamed. I think this is as closest we can get to this kind of bracket.
There's been a lot of players in this bracket that have very close matchups.
Right, and by the looks of it, I feel like I need some time for myself, man. This has been a lot of matches for me to cast, and I feel like I need to let my voice away, man.
Okay, I'll be sure to grab another water bottle. For those of you as well, be sure to grab your snacks and popcorn. I believe we're going over to a quick break relatively, but don't go anywhere. We've got plenty more action coming at you live for the Tetr World Championships Group C. A lot of great matches still to be played, so don't go anywhere.
And of course, we'll be right back.
right, hello everyone and welcome back. We are here with some more Tetr Winter Championships action. Myself and the lovely, studious TGK, who still happens to be reading their wonderful thesis. TGK, happy to be back, are you?
I thought the books were more important.
Well, I mean, hey, if the book's about Tetris, I can't complain. That's all I'm saying.
There's plenty of them out there. It's pretty broad to think about, but so happy to be back, though. I'm gonna take off my reading glasses, which are not so reading glasses, but more so shade glasses. But either way, we shall commence in the TWC 2023 Group C bracket in the loser side of things, because we've seen a lot of winners matches and whatnot, but. Like I said before, I do. Oh.
Okay, well, getting a little bit of intel from Misty. I believe we're going to be getting our winners finals match out of the way first.
Wow.
So,
and
this will be, yeah. So again, you can see on our winners semifinals, both players winning with quite a strong win. 4-11, Fortisum able to carry through, but Tagayat's 11-1 over RKY. So, although we know Tagayats might be quite a bit stronger than their seed does demonstrate, still a fantastic showing against a player who was also very highly seeded in our bracket and threatening to pull quite a lot of upsets if they do fall from winner's side, or potentially could be making grand finals a very interesting match unless they lose their next two. So, looking forward to seeing what more they're capable of, but between RKY, Corpy, Muke, and Unnamed, only one of them is going to come out with 2 wins and face the loser of our winners finals match, and it is going to be a very hard-fought battle in order to get to that point.
Indeed it will be, and we will get to see who gets to take that grand final spot, and also spot in top 16. Could it be the best in Brazil, or the best in Canada? We saw the second best, but what about the first list? And also the best blitzer in the entire game, more so, because look at these beautiful, close stats. Oh, that's what you love to see. I can definitely see a deuce coming in the works, Stavo. How do you feel about this?
Between Forts and Tagayats, I mean, I think this is definitely going to be a very hard match for Fortisum, but for Tagayats as well, Fortisum is a very hard player to crack because they're so unpredictable and they have a lot of tools at the ready. So Tagayats has to figure out a way to also play just as unpredictable and try to get some wins here and there. Because if they're able to just continue playing the same way over and over, I think Fort's going to make the necessary adaptations to carry through. So I believe the pressure's going to be on Tagayats here to figure out what is the secret sauce, for lack of better terms, to really glue together the different elements of their play. Because again, Fortisum able to blitz incredibly well, able to sprint incredibly well. Will find ways to spike mid-game, whether that be on T-spin and quad spikes or on downstep combos. It's pretty much the entire package, and because of that, they're also extremely strong when they need to defend against those strategies. So if Tagayats is able to find something here to spice things up, and it looks like Tagayats actually going for almost the exact same continuation that Fort likes to go for out of the, it's not quite TKI, but it's almost that same thing.
I think that was SDPC that I saw from Fort. And Tagayats is clearly making some clean work with this, with these setups, because their back-to-back is really starting to become strong in warm-up, and this is already getting started, and Fort, with the defense game, looking pretty good, not too exactly threatened.
I mean, I do remember on Fort's last warm-up, they tried to, I think, intentionally go slow, won the game with about 1.7 pieces per second. Obviously, against a player like Tagayats, you have to play a little bit faster just to make sure you don't get overwhelmed. But still, I think Fort is just using this opportunity to figure out how slow they're allowed to play and be safe before they, kind of start running out of things. But that's another very good point to make, is Fort is doing a very good job at using this warm-up to the fullest potential, not just to get comfortable with the controls, but to get comfortable with their opponent. And look at that, beautifully living that incredible spike almost on the jaws of defeat, but a perfect amount of survival to mix in with that healthy amount of attack. And we can see as the warm-up continues on past our first minute.
Yeah, Fort is really taking this pretty strong, but those misdrops almost risking their lives in favor of fixing that. But Tagai's is playing fairly clean, especially with the efficiency that they so have at this kind of speed. And Fort is, of course, taking their time to fix all of this. And Fort with the downstack pressure, how are we almost 2 minutes in? Oh
I mean,
my goodness.
Fort's doing a phenomenal job playing efficient. I know the APM still is quite in Tagai's favor, and able to get that spike, and it actually is going to be enough. Fort will top out, but I believe Fort is okay with the sequence of events, able to maintain around 3.3 pieces per second. Tagai's seem to be playing their heart out, and I think Fort definitely might have been just a little bit not quite performing at that peak, just trying to gauge what Tagai's is able to pull off, and I think Fort is now ready to make the decisions based off of that information.
When you're able to maximize that kind of attack, like, in general, it's just really hard to deal with, especially for someone like Fortism, so they're definitely going to have to play very passively. Well, I wouldn't say passively, but they're going to try to look for a lot of options that could definitely change for the greater good, and very good find by Fort.
And you can see immediately, yeah, DPC is going to be get with a little bit of garbage, so not quite going to be getting a DPC solve and loop. However, we can see the speed is really starting to come out for Fortism, and really starting to stride a little bit, but so is Tagai's with a 4.1 pieces per second, and actually going to take the first round off of Fortism.
Oh, that speed was phenomenal by Tagai's. You can definitely see that they're very passionate about this sort of match, especially when qualifying at a very low seed, just so desperately wanting to be part of this group, and Fortism is just barely trying to keep it together, and they're keeping up that back-to-back pressure regardless of the speed, and Tagai's is just changing it all the way back, but Fort is still having the game of their lives with this back-to-back chain. Gonna have to break it, unfortunately.
Oh, wow, 20 and 17 spiked. Both players answering immediately. And very nice T-spin single, though, from Fort. Able to start building up that back-to-back, but also keeps it clean as they move the stack over. But Tagai's huge spike!
But Tagai's is able to keep up the pressure just when you thought that Fort was going to go down. But Tagai's just told them, no, you can't go down.
217 APM out of Tagai's and a 2-0 to make a very commanding start. There's the all clear after the MKO. Fort, I believe, went for SDPC skim, maybe?
That was SDPC spin, my friend.
Spin. Okay, the other one. All right. Well, there's a lot of other ones, but it was working on it. Okay.
Very good prophecy by Fort too. Oh boy. It definitely looks like Fort is just really taking their time with this sort of thing, and Tagai's is clearly trying to find a fix for this misdrop. Barely
gets down to it just in time, and the garbage again is clean. Sends off that counter spike, but Fort just able to play through expertly and not going to be losing very much ground, even as a result of that fantastic offense that Tagai's is really starting to push on these Jets.
Yeah, Fort isn't
and the two quads and spike, but Fort's still alive. And runs out of skim.
Not for long. Tagai's has a fairly strong lead. Are we gonna get an upset soon? I know this is pretty early.
I mean, Fort is one of the hardest players to pull that off against, but at this rate, it could very well likely happen. But Fort, with a commanding SDPC into the DPC continuation, doesn't even make it to that second all clear because it's too much pressure too soon, and Tagai's tops out.
Oh, it's some very good finds by Fort with this SDPC pressure, but Tagai's is really, really good at being able to cancel all of that. And Fort is really going to have to stick to that mid-game pressure if they really want to kill Tagai's, which seems to be quite a Herculean task, and they're just doing their best, and Tagai's is just continuing that back-to-back momentum. Finding the STSD, I almost said SDPC, I apologize, that's Fort's job.
Oh my goodness, look at the APM in this match, 240 and 220 on player averages at this point. Just a crazy amount of offense going off, and the spike to follow up from Tagai's, the 8 back-to-back solidifying that Game 5 win for Tagai's, and I think Fort definitely, has to run a little bit with a bit of this opener play. Seems to be doing a fantastic job at it. but this might potentially be their win condition, and it's never a comfortable one to have to rely on.
Yeah, Tagayas is really starting to play
Oh, but
very
10 back-to-back
breezily.
though from Fort, and Fort has very little garbage incoming.
Oh my god, Fort is just trying their best to not get absolutely spat on by Tagayas' speed. But Tagayas can fix it.
Wow, and just so quickly as well. Tagayas really starting to turn on the Jets once again and is going to try and see if they're building up back-to-back. It's now a race to see who can get that back-to-back up in time. Fort initially starting to pull the weight. Little bit tight, but both players will have to break it. A lot of that good pressure from both.
Oh no, but the guys with the misdrops but does manage to make a T-spin out of that mistake. It's just always a good fix for all sorts of problems, and Tagayas is proving that quite as well, and Fort is having a hard time trying to combat it.
Fort miscounts on the T-spin.
Oh my god, Fort being able to recover just okay, and just finding that T-spin, they're going to need to greed a bit in order to do some sort of damage and recovery.
Oh, and a fantastic
pressure.
Mini T-spin, able to help keep back-to-back. Untimely T-piece, so that back-to-back for Fort will break, but Tagayas has done a fantastic job of making sure not to leave a lot of garbage on their board at any time frame to make sure they have the maximum amount of their man-made stack to work with.
Yeah, there's so much clean for Tagayas to really make out of, and Fort is doing their damnedest to really do something with it. Just, ooh.
That is an interesting spot. Oh my goodness, look at this. Okay, well, gives up back-to-back. Tries to go for the top out, but unfortunately it's not going to happen.
God, the speed! Tagayas
very careful spins from Fortissim, but it's working out in their favor. Tagayas, though, is starting to build up a lot of back-to-back, and this is going to get scary for Forts. No, the eyepiece doesn't spin!
Oh, that is so much clean, but Fort didn't clear it with that unfortunate misdrop. I have never seen Tagayas play at a speed equivalent to a Formula 1 car, for all I know. Because that is Brazil's best speed demon.
Early spike from Fort. Tagayas has a couple of scam options. There is the out, and they get the quad on the combo as well. And now Fort's got to be a little careful. Has to bail on a T-spin double setup. But manages to get that combo through.
Oh my god, Tagayas is really good at fixing all these, and Fort is trying to keep up with this momentum. Just watching him try to clear all of these spots, and
this is going to be a tough misdrop, and Tagayas immediately sending a spike. The T-spin none forces Fortissim's APM to compromise, and this is a 6-1 lead that Tagayas has over Fortissim. Early eyepiece, as we see Fort now going to be going back to that STSD opener that we see them always to go for usually.
Oh yeah, and that reliable TSD from Fortissim, as we see from a lot of tournaments. But Tagayas with the macro play is going to be a savior in his plans, and gonna have to dig down just as a matter of fact. And Fort, very good spike by Fort. They're gonna need to fix a bit of holes though that they so made in favor of getting another one with the STSD
wow, and that's another STSD.
Oh my god, Fort is just playing out of their mind, but they really need to do something to get them in the lead. And the guys is just gatekeeping all of that just to secure that top 16 spot. And Fort is struggling.
Man, and yeah, Tagayas just has like a general overall speed advantage over Fort, which generally hasn't happened in the past, but I definitely think it's starting to catch up with them. Okay, and we see Fort going with the blitz strats. Here's the all clears, DPC, and a lot of garbage. But Tagayas able to send some. Can Tagayas get through? This is the second DPC from Fort. Fort is still looping, and Tagayas is still going through. Unfortunate misdrop from Fort. And Tagayas now has a ton of clean, ready to send the trigger at a moment's notice. There's a ton of back-to-back, but a ton of multiplier potential from Fort, and they're now over to their center well.
Oh, Fort, but all of that PC momentum, does that really matter into the mid-game? Because Tagayas is just sending all of them back to them, just a trade of damage. And Fort is just struggling underneath the pressure. And the greed, too. It's
oh, no, there's no skim option there. And that's another for Tagayas, almost 240 APM out of both players. But just really making a huge wave for themselves. 8-1 for Tagayas' favor. Fort is going to continue potentially with the blitz. No, they're just going to go through get some T-spins here and there, and try and make some magic happen.
Oh my god, Fort. They're in such a dire situation. They've tried everything to see what works, and Fort is just having so many plans just be funneled all thanks to Guide's defense. They're just here to be a brick wall and not to just tank all of it, but just to send it all the way back. And Fort is just doing their best to really counteract that. Even with this ST stacking, it's gonna be really hard for them to keep up the momentum. And Tagayas is just he's just there to harass. He's just there to harass and just stop everything. But the high misdrop.
Fort has the 7-2 though. Back to back. Unfortunately, it goes up, but it gets broken just as fast. And another misdrop. And unfortunately for Fort, every mistake has been costly against over 4 pieces per second to Gaius, just sending APM striding like no tomorrow. An unfortunate T-piece misdrop for them. Maybe Fort might be able to get a quick up here potentially.
Yeah, but the speed though, the speed from the guys, he's able to fix that already. This is something that Fort wasn't ready for, especially if they're 1 point out of 9 compared to Tagayats and Tagayats.
Oh no, and the skims run out for Fortisum.
This is upset potential.
That's 10-1 in Tagayats' favor. Fort really has a lot of work cut out for them. Alright, gonna be doing a little bit of... oh wow, and Fort with the counter spike is now really trying to blitz it out, but again, another misdrop. And I think they've been having a lot of struggles playing fast. And Tagayats' speed is going to prevail as an 11-1 commanding lead, able to bring things through. Fantastic stuff from them. And you can see the APM doesn't have too much of a differentiation, but that extra little bit of speed, especially at these breakneck paces, is going to make a world of difference when Tagayas is able to play this around and pulls the upset over Fortisum, sending Fort down into loser's bracket. Any loss from Fort at this point, besides losing in Grand, will, quite frankly, be Fort's tournament run here for TWC.
That was a star-studding play for Tagayats, taking top 16 as the sudden qualifying player. This is a really good sight to see. They've been preparing all season to get to this moment, and they're just showing the best they can. But Fort always wanted to put up a good fight, but Tagayats is like a brick wall. It's harsh, it's hard, it's made of like specific concrete. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with this?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest too. Like, even though Fort did have like a very strong showing, I'm looking at Tagayats' general Tetr League stats right now, and even their own performance in that past set was a decent bit above their usual average. So Tagayats, even just on an ordinary day, would likely have a very even set with Fortisum, but just ran away with it like there's no tomorrow, and just, you know, passed go and collected many more than $200, and are going to be booking their way into grand finals, and more importantly for them, have solidified their spot in top 16. Regardless of the rest of the night, they are going to be showing up next week in our top 16 bracket. So congratulations to Tagayats. And for everyone left in losers bracket, there is now 1 spot remaining able to be claimed. But obviously Tagayats isn't going anywhere for tonight, because whoever wins that grand final set will be given a little bit of a priority in facing your first round 1 matchup for top 16.
That was some beautiful series of events for Tagayas, especially for those in the LATAM community who are wooing at the sight of Tagayas taking that top 16 spot. So for Fort, it's unfortunate, or unfortunate. That's bad, but Fort definitely has another chance of securing that said top 16 spot, and they do have another chance. They do have another chance. It's just going to take a miracle to go back into grand finals and rematch against Tagayats. But of course, with Tagayats taking grand finals, we are going to see
It looks like we've already had one of our games underway, and unfortunately we didn't get to see the deuce happen. But that is 12-10. Unnamed conquers Muke and books their way into loser semifinals, now awaiting the fates of RKY versus Corpy.
I am pretty sure we've seen Corpy do their best in terms of that previous match that we had, despite the technical difficulties. But Corpy seems to be level-headed about their current matchup right now, especially against RKY, who has unfortunately lost to the best in Brazil, which, you know, it happens. But they do have another chance at trying to turn this around, and potentially, if they ever beat Corpy and Unnamed, we might have the Battle for Canada Take 2. So...
Alright.
Right.
I'm gonna do a little bit of an ad break here because that RKY and Corpy match is still going on. We're going to be making a plug for Absolute Showdown, which I believe is happening a week from tomorrow, depending on your time zone. And it's going to be a tournament featuring, I believe, Tetris the Grandmaster 2, if I'm not mistaken.
And TGM2 indeed, Absolute Showdown. In order to participate for Absolute Showdown, you can always download Fightcade. It's free. You can always look up a tutorial on how to get ROMs for it. But on November 18th, we'll be having a TGM2 versus mode tournament. And you can also always donate for incentives for $500. We can be able to raise for the TGM documentary. And as always, you can always register at teamtsd.net/TGM. And of course, it shall be streamed on November 18th, 12 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. CET, 2 a.m. JST at twitch.tv/teamtsd, which from what I've heard might be their final tournament of the year, which has been an insanely nutty run for not just Tetrio, but Tetris in general, because this has been a fairly fun year for a lot of players, especially for someone like me who has just gone back into it and just fully committing to Tetris in general, which is absolutely a delight to see. So of course, if you're a TGM player or looking to learn TGM and want to participate in the tournament, go to Absolute Showdown, download Fightcade, find a tutorial to get some ROMs for yourself, and always remember to get TGM2. Register at teamtsd.net/TGM, and if you're a spectator, you can always watch at twitch.tv/teamtsd. And you can also donate to the prize pool and also get Carnage mode as well, and including the TGM documentary. So donate when you can. It's not necessary, but it's appreciated.
Alright, and another lovely facet of the Tetrio World Championships as well in collaboration with us. We've got the merch as well. T-shirts, keychains, mouse pads. Maybe, I think there's more, don't worry. I don't know how much I should spill, but yes, there is definitely more as well that is on the way for Tetrio World Championships, memorabilia, or anything else you could possibly want. And of course, merchandise over on our Match-Trainer page is one of the best ways to not only support us and the entire Tetrio team, as well as the prize pool for all of the wonderful players that you do see on stream today. So if any of this catches your fancy and you want to be helping to not only support the players, but be getting yourself some very cool Tetrio swag, be sure to head over to the Match-Trainer page and browse some of the nice wares that they do have to support the event.
And shoutouts to the beautiful art and music involved in this kind of event, not just by one person, which includes Skyfire, which also shoutouts to the music that's been developed for the TWC. And of course, Skyfire, you can always check out his works. This song, made for TWC, has been phenomenal, and we would really like to thank him for making this happen. And also, shoutouts to the artists who also helped with the artwork for the TWC banner, which is absolutely stunning. I really adore this art style. Just the artistic intent in this entire tournament has been phenomenal, and of course, we wouldn't have it without all these wonderful people behind the scenes and whatnot. People have composed like Skyfire, people have participated, people are running the stream like Team TSD and Puzzle Kingdom. Both of them are carrying, including Hummingbird's Nest, who helps with the duo streams and everything else. This has been a especially fun bit of production to witness, especially in the current scene right now. And as always, as what you're hearing right now, shout out to Skyfire Live for making the TWC 2023 theme. And even if we have it next year, we could potentially have a pretty big glow up later on, and maybe have some more effort put into it. I'm not saying this very passive aggressively, mind you. I hope this is not intentional.
I was gonna say, okay.
But either way, shout outs to everyone who's been involved in production, and shout outs to everyone who has even worked outside of production to help contribute and commission for the said tournament. And
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it would be an understatement to say that there might very well be over 100 people that have indirectly and directly contributed to the production of TWC this year. It is a fantastic group of very talented individuals that have just, put their hearts out to make sure that the production level is top-notch for this event. And again, especially with the Commission for Skyfire as well, to contribute in every way possible. Just fantastic stuff. Everyone putting their hearts out, and just, again, I mean, what else can we say? So,
special thanks to everyone who has been involved and contributed, commissioned, and also taken part of the TWC and in the making of it, especially those outside the tournament, inside the tournament, wherever you are, however you are. This has been like some pretty much top tier production value. All thanks to everyone, including Oscar, including everyone. And even if it sounds like I'm a broken record, that just shows how much I'm thankful for this community. Alright, so do you want to commence? Oh, I guess we have more ads still, but of course.
Yes, we still got. There are always ads.
So
we have ads 20,000. What do you mean?
Oh, he's real, but. Of course, continuing like from earlier, we also have Snow is Infinite 2024 taking place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I almost said California.
Yes, it's not California. Be careful, everyone. All right, there's no Toronto, Ontario in California, as far as I'm aware. But this is the Canadian one. So for those of you in the U.S., you will need a passport. Absolutely, and always remember to buy a passport as it does take place in Canada. Of course, Snow is Infinite 2024, powered by Hitbox. It'll take place on January 5th and 6th, 2024, and of course, we also have the first in-person Stacky Awards coming up the day after the tournament, which you can always still vote in the Google Forums to see who gets to be involved by the committee, and also the Google Forum, which could greatly benefit to those who still want to vote. Before or after all that's settled. And as always, you can always sign up to this LAN event if you have a passport for it, if you have the time, the scheduling for it. You can always sign up at start.gg/SII2024. Entrants are always $25, but to those who just want to watch, spectators are always $5. We make it as cheap as we want to get and as valuable as we want for this kind of LAN event, especially of this caliber, because the Tetris community has been on par when it comes to kickstarting LAN events as much as they do with online events. So this has been a well-coordinated, well-organized, well-structured, project to work on, especially with making all these events possible. And as always, if you, like I said, one last time, if you want to participate in a LAN event like this, if you have a passport that you can travel to, you can always go to Snow is Infinite 2024, powered by Hitbox. Remember to go to start.gg/SII2024 to sign up as soon as you can, because prices are pretty cheap. You gotta get it as soon as you can. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, if you're going to travel a lot, usually these entrance fees and spectator fees are a lot higher than the numbers you guys are seeing on screen. So do take full advantage of them while they are this low, because there are not going to be many events, especially in the future, where we may be able to have the privilege of putting the price tag like $25 US. And again, keep in mind, that's entrance to every single bracket you may ever want to play in. Because I believe Snow is Infinite has, I think, around 10 or 11 different tournaments that you can participate over that weekend. So a lot of different stuff that we're going to be hosting, and a lot of great competition. So again, whether it's your first time, your 10th time, a fantastic LAN to head out to if you're able to do so. So please do check it out again on Start.gg, Snow is Infinite 2024, powered by Hitbox.
Absolutely. And we would like to appreciate the Tetris community for making all of this happen to begin with, and of course, having to advertise it and just show off before the main event happens. This has been absolutely amazing to showcase and also preview. So, as always, you can always contribute to the Tetris, to the Tetris community, whatever you can. You don't have to, but either way, stuff like this can always be happened by the people, which we're happy to create.
Alright, and we are finally able to get into our loser semifinals match, and the outcome, Quarpy is going to take it, and I'm not entirely sure, I can't see the bracket here, but I believe I've been told in chat that there might have been multiple deuces in that last set. So I believe Quarpy fought tooth and nail in order to get to this point. So Wow.
Was,
Okay.
that was so nutty, and we were all doing this while ads were happening. Oh my god, so much time has passed.
Yeah, but again, yeah, Corpy showing that they definitely want their chance to make it through, and I believe at this point, because Unnamed has beaten Muke, the person that has knocked Corpy out is no longer in the tournament. So, that's Corpy now has a new match. Well, I mean, Unnamed and Corpy have a new match at the tackle, and I believe there's no warm up going straight into it. But fantastic stuff.
I didn't know we were speedrunning. Oh my god.
It appears we might be. So,
gonna be having that... getting started with that MS2, and Corpy already topping out. Oh my.
And a very quick MS2. Unnamed going to be taking a very quick first game. Looks like I believe Unnamed is going to be sticking with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the very quick T-spin single from Corpy is going to make sure that they are not going to top out from any all-clear spike anytime soon.
I really like Unnamed's power stacking, but that one misdrop is going to be capitalized for Corpy, tying it back up. Oh, all right. My goodness.
And shout out to all of you guys coming in from Hummingbird Nestress. Thanks
Nestress?
Again. Well, Nest Tetris. Sorry, I merged the two words. I did a bit of a synthesis. All right,
it's okay. But yeah, shout outs to the people at Hummingbird's Nest who have been watching the duo stream that got rated for Team TSD, which we're happy to see. And Corpy is taking a pretty safe lead right now, especially with the losers bracket run that they so have. And then it looks like they're still taking pretty good games off of Unnamed, who seems to have a TKI PC too.
Oh, but Unnamed, unfortunately, I believe also had a misdrop during the soft drop portion. Okay, all but a very good double IP sequence, able to get a little bit of pressure off, but Corpy really building up this back-to-back, trying to get that spike off. Unfortunately, breaks it right before we hit that magic number 8. And...
definitely looks like Unnamed is taking their time. They're slowly creeping it back up, and Corpy has so much cheese to work with, but knowing with how they
Unnamed working on that spike. A little bit of 3-wide action as well, just to get that extra credit. However, Corpy, with some very fantastic survivability, is going to be able to get away.
Yeah, it definitely seems like
these skips are going to be hard to do, and I think that's too much garbage too quickly, and Unnamed going to be evening things up, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, it definitely looks like this match might be pretty close, even with the last match that we had off stream. And Corpy's really...
Wow, and yeah, all
really
good
from
Corpy, but gonna have to literally accept almost the entire board in garbage. Oh, S&Z burst, unfortunately, and that's going to cut off the skim options. Just needed a little bit more out of that sequence. And Unnamed's 3-2, I believe, is...
Yeah, it definitely looks like Unnamed starting to really fumble just a bit with that misdrop, but they're still looking pretty healthy with this kind of lead, but Corpy could still be able to take it back if they want to. Not that they have to, but they really should take that lead into that consideration. And Unnamed is still trying to play a bit of defense.
Oh, one piece off of the all clear for Corpy.
Oh, that
about as close as you could get. But we can see a little bit of the plonking there. Going to be timing things as well as they can. Oh, a little bit of a misspin though on Corpy's side, and a misread on the T-spin double.
Oh, very good ice spin by Corpy too, but is that enough to save it? Definitely looks like it might be.
Yeah, and Corpy now over to that sidewell, has access to it, trying to send a counter spike, but so is Unnamed with that follow-up. A lot of clean garbage for Unnamed. Corpy with a decent bit of stack to work with. Very flexible in their options currently.
Unnamed. Bit of in trouble right now. They're looking pretty high, especially with this kind of board state, and I think that
that's really greedy T-piece placement.
Yeah, that's so unlucky for Unnamed, and Corpy is tying it all the way back up. Like I said about that close match consideration, definitely looks like Corpy is about to do it once again. Choosing not to opt for the PC, all thanks to Unnamed's SDPC spin setup. And Corpy is going to have to really do something with this in order to make this powerful. And Unnamed is just doing it for him. Oh my. Oh my. Unnamed.
Oh, and
Unnamed.
yet here comes the damage. I mean, 3.5 pieces per second, but Corpy has clean.
Yeah, and Corpy's able to get it out just right. They just really need to turn this around while Unnamed just has all this clean to really use to their advantage. And Corpy is not really taking that lightly, just sending it all the way back with such vigor. And Corpy is just keeping up the momentum. The downstack too. Couldn't get the quad, but it's safer than never. Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, wow, and builds a fantastic T-spin double on top of the misdrop.
Yeah, this is
a little bit of back-to-back bonus just to keep things clean while on the way down. Unfortunately, it has broken now. But that extra credit is going to be enough to solidify the top out over Unnamed, and Corpy takes the lead back. It's 4-3. Still a very, very tight game.
Yeah, Corpy. I was gonna say that better not be lag.
Did you get PTSD from that?
I was gonna have like a Monka S moment right there. But either way, Corpy is playing. Don't worry. And it definitely looks like Corpy is doing their best. Couldn't exactly get the T-spin just right, but hey, they managed to make the most of it. And Unnamed playing it low and slow, gonna kickstart the back-to-back. Not a good misdrop though. They did fix it, but they had to sacrifice back-to-back.
Misdrop though from Corpy now. Those shouldn't be under too much pressure, so not terribly nervous about Corpy's survival chances, but Unnamed has 0 garbage. Has a little bit of time to try and maybe build up some back-to-back, get that stack in a much more favorable position. We can see it starts to go out.
Oh my god, Corpy is such in a good position right now. Look at all this clean. Look at the efficiency that they're building up towards. Especially with this kind of plonking, this is pretty scary for Unnamed, who is just scarily getting higher and higher, but they're not exactly being too pressured by all of this as they still continue to go down, and Corpy is just waiting for the moment to strike.
Corpy had that 8 back-to-back, unfortunately had to cut it in order to keep the down stacking alive. Ooh, very good placement of that L piece in order to keep that down stack going. Little bit of counter spike as well with the multiplier at the end of that for Corpy. However, Unnamed is still has, again, like that really strong speed advantage is still working numbers and making these KOs very difficult for Corpy to land successfully.
And Unnamed over here looking to set up all this damage, but Corpy, barely making it out alive. They're still having to play their life on the line, but they still managed to get it out just perfectly. Unnamed with a bit of misdropping, having to fix it, and definitely looks like both of these players are going back and forth, and we are 2 minutes into the match, but Unnamed looks like they might
Unnamed, what is... Oh, jeez. I mean, there was really not a lot of good options to keep that T-spin double clean, but unfortunately, the greed is going to KO, because Corpy does have the tools necessary to close that game out, and it looks like Unnamed is waiting to stall things out in order to get the counter spike. 25 from the initial opener, and they are really starting to fly through it, and I believe that is enough garbage in time. Corpy cannot get to the garbage well with the eyepiece, and Unnamed is going to be getting that lead back to within 1. Early O to starts. Looks like, again, MS2 out of Unnamed's. Waiting for the garbage, sends the counter spike.
Oh my. Yeah, look at that setup. They so desperately want that combo, and they in fact do, but they really need to do so much more with it, especially with the continuation and the quad. Oh, the 7-2 from Unnamed, and Corpy having to fix a couple holes. This is a pretty big moment for them.
ZP's misdrop is going to make the skims a lot more airtight. Has to be,
God,
very careful placements, but Unnamed has enough garbage, and they're able to bring it back to even. And it's 5-5. The next game will definitely put us over the halfway point, barring any potential deuces.
Unnamed, gonna have to fix this very floaty looking setup. Doesn't have to rely on that STSD greed. They just want to live, and Corpy wants that lead back as soon as they could. They were 2 points ahead, but now they're still tied. This could mean anyone's game, just judging by these playstyles, and Unnamed just doesn't want to be on the receiving end of this broken
and the
tie.
accept and receive, and Corpy's keeping back-to-back. Oh, and the 180 as well, but unfortunately has to break the back-to-back. Unnamed right now is trying to run the train through. 5 back-to-back. There's 7 already by the time I address it.
Oh my god.
Reaches the magic
Corpy.
number, finally breaks it, but has had a lot of very strong offense that they're able to work wonders with.
Oh, very beautiful parapet by Corpy, being able to continue that T-spin combo and back-to-back. This is a pretty strong mid-game for Corpy, and they just so desperately want that lead back, while Unnamed has all of this clean to work with, but Corpy is still
Look at this
sending.
back-to-back from Corpy. It's at 11.
Oh, I think that was a missed PC, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter as Unnamed loses that round and Corpy takes it back at the skin of their teeth.
All right, Unnamed going to go back to the MS2. Looks like to go for the all-clear option, and they do get it off in time. Corpy's skim options are running a little dry, but Unnamed does not go for the DPC follow-up, but they get the T-spin double in time. And it's 6 even between both players. Got an early out to start. I don't think either player is going to be doing the stick spin, but it would be a lovely bag for them if they were. Oh, the counter spike from MS2.
Oh my god, Corpy had a bit of a LST stacking, but had to be broken all thanks to Unnamed's immense pressure. Their mechanical T-spin stacking is going to be just enough to send just a bit more, and Corpy just can't handle all of this cheese. This is too much. And Unnamed takes the lead for themselves.
I believe that's 3 straight from Unnamed now. Really starting to try and pull some momentum in their favor. We can see blitzing out the MS2, but it's an unfortunate misdrop time. Corpy knows this and is really starting to get out these T-spin doubles. Beautiful donated play. Oh, and I think they're going for another donation as well. Yes, they are. Unfortunately, has to break a back-to-back.
Oh my god, Corpy needs to count to 4 to send the quad. Chooses not to opt for it. And Unnamed is building off of what seems to be a very clean, heavy board, especially with the 9-0 that you so want, especially if you're one for optimized play. And Corpy is really starting to struggle with that kind of factor. All these KPPs are just through the roof, and that's not really favorable if you want to get out in time. And Unnamed's speed is really starting to prove that fact just right.
Oh no, Unnamed's one misdrop, and Corpy immediately capitalizes.
But even the most efficient can still make the most damaging of mistakes. Unnamed still proves it too. And Corpy is just looking to play just a bit safe. Very good floating setup by Corpy, but Unnamed has some other options to take, which seem to really benefit because Corpy's board is just, well, not exactly too dangerous now, all thanks to that fix. Very solid play. Oh, this is looking pretty healthy. Unnamed with a bit of ST stacking, gonna transition into it.
Yeah, still working with center will. Ends the back-to-back to try and get that 15 spike. Corpy looking for the proper dig options, able to get through with some very clever stacking. Very nice T-spin as well. Little misdrop, but still very low on the board. Is able to take a lot of garbage and still get out scot-free. Meanwhile, Unnamed still trying to run that offensive route. You can see him resting around a 170 APM. But Corpy with like 50 APM lower has no problem surviving this whatsoever. And maybe Nope, Corpy. Okay, never mind. Has the down stack. I was about...
Oh boy.
I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then Corpy was like, nope, it's good. Down stack is here.
Yeah, both of these players are looking pretty comfy. Oh my goodness, Corpy is playing pretty low, and Unnamed has so much to work with.
Misdrop for Corpy. Unnamed has starting to build up that back-to-back. It's at 4. Can they continue to build up and spike out Corpy with the extra damage that they're going to get? Currently at 8. No, they break back-to-back once again. Just Corpy, by some chance, is always able to force Unnamed to break that back-to-back as soon as they get to the extra multipliers. And really keep themselves in a fantastic spot. 19 spike out of Corpy.
Oh, Unnamed. Looking very cheesy, but this is really helpful for their downstack potential. And Corpy looking to really continue that damage going, because that magic number... Oh, he needs that magic number, and the effect does, but does have the break it, but that's still some pretty solid pressure. They're still going. They're still going, though.
Okay, alright, there's another one for Corpy able to get a fantastic spike on the down stack. And it looks like they're going to try and go for another one. Unfortunately, the eyepiece doesn't work out terribly well. 2 minutes, 30 seconds in, we can start to see that margin time kicks in on the drop speed. Not quite going to go with the garbage just yet, but Corpy doesn't need the extra boost. 8-7 as they are now in the lead. Only one game, so they could still keep pushing things to deuce. But that efficiency from Corpy, allowing them to play at nearly 2 or just under 3 pieces per second, is just an incredible performance to see. And, okay, oh no, the T-Skim, very, it's a scary spot for Unnamed to be in. However, Corpy doesn't have the best stack as well either. Oh, but it's beautiful for that down stack, and there's the timing, making sure to offset any of that extra garbage. Doesn't want to have the cheese on their board.
Yeah, Corpy is looking pretty healthy, but Unnamed with the 7-2 is going to put on a lot of pressure for Corpy to handle, and the misdrops is just, it's too overwhelming. What they...
Oh no, the eye misdrop! And Unnamed evens it back up.
Corpy,
8-8. You're potentially 4 games away from a deuce.
Oh god, Corpy needs about 3 more in order to not make this happen again. But Unnamed is still putting on so much to just really throw Corpy off.
Oh, opening spike. There's a fractal as well. And Unnamed reclaims the lead with a 216 APM round. It's 9-8. We have an S and Z to start. Pretty jagged as well. But for an MS2 player like Unnamed, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Gets the all-clear solve, but Corpy is doing a fantastic job with the skimming and the countering, that they are in no danger.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Corpy is going to need to really do a lot to really fix this. And Unnamed, with the lead, looking mighty confident. But just because we have so much confidence doesn't mean it's going to deflate, like, slowly. And Corpy might be able to take a look at it and just, you know, take it. Or at least get rid of all that kind of sense of confidence. But Corpy is taking their time with this sort of thing. And Unnamed, looking to build up just a bit of damage. Corpy being sent just a bit of cheese. This is looking pretty scary, but not too bad.
Okay, garbage does come in from Unaimed. A little bit greedy from Corpy after a misdrop, but does no!
Oh, Corpy!
Still
that's
alive!
So
T-spin single!
That's
and
so
the greed pays off.
Oh my god, Corpy. Corpy is playing with their life on the line right now. This is so scary, and they're still going. They're still going.
This is absolutely crazy to see from Corpy. 2.8 pieces per second, but it doesn't matter. Speed isn't everything. And Unaimed with a little bit of a misdrop. Tries to play greedy, but you need to get down.
Oh, that is an example of how to not greed in that situation, and Corpy is able to fix this better than Unnamed could have. And now both of them are continuing to tie themselves up again and again and again. This is a literal tug of war that we're seeing.
Oh no, the MS2 from Unnamed, but it gets a misdrop. He's still alive. Has some opportunity. There you go. Opens up that well, setting up a fractal. Gonna try and see if spiking out of garbage might be able to get some momentum, but again, Corpy is ready for it. A very strong defensive player.
Yeah, and by the looks of it, Unnamed is playing pretty strong. Look at that mech spin and the quad. This is some pretty decent damage to Corpy. Just so much clean, but Corpy's sending it all the way back.
Oh my goodness! That was a terrifying time to accept, but Unnamed does it and manages to get through and is going to try and get that stack down immediately to the bottom. They don't want to have another heart attack.
Oh my god, yeah, Unnamed is he's just playing so scarily. With all these risks, you definitely don't want to take them, especially if you're Unnamed, but Unnamed really likes to play for their life. I'm saying that like it's dangerous, but either way, this is a major tournament that we're talking about. This is a top 16 spot that they're trying to contest for. And Corpy wants it so badly, just judging by the scores, they're just going to tie it back and back and forth and back and forth. It's just a breakneck race to see who gets to take the win first and see who doesn't get the deuce.
Oh, the back-to-back bonus from Corpy, and they're going to go in with advantage. Unnamed has to push it to deuce, or Corpy will win if they get their next win.
This is pretty scary. Unnamed is still adding so much damage.
Oh wow, the color clear for Corpy.
Oh my god, let's hope we don't get the... Let's just hope that Unnamed doesn't choke this in order to make this deuce happen, or at least the first stream deuce of tonight. And Corpy is continuously just trying to play it safe, not trying to let that happen. Well, it definitely seems like it might be the case.
Okay, but Corpy, no, is ready for it once again. Setting up a donation, starts to build up that back-to-back. Unfortunately, has to break it because Unnamed is putting on a crazy amount of pressure. We can see that APM is starting to climb from them. Extremely greedy builds out of Unnamed, but is unfazed. But Corpy has back-to-back, but Unnamed has such a strong counter that it is going to break Corpy's back-to-back. Nearly misdrops the T-spin double, and they're still alive even after that. Corpy APM did skyrocket as a result of the misdrops. But Unnamed!
That might be it. Maybe?
No, it's not!
Oh my god, Unnamed just hanging on a thread, and Corpy is just doing so much to kill, but it's not really doing anything. Unnamed is just playing so much, so far, so long, so many 2-minute sets, so many rounds, so many ties. They just want to end this. And this is the effort that they have to take, and Corpy is just so desperately wanting to not let this deuce happen again. The last time they happened, it lasted forever, and Corpy is just doing so much effort, and Unnamed is making all of these donations, all of these mistakes, and trying to fix them as soon as possible. I think this might be it.
The misturn!
This might be it. But not really.
But they get to the IPs in time!
What is going on?
The down stack is there, but Corpy, though, is still in the driver's seat. This is 8 back-to-back, so they're going to have a little bit more leeway to work with, but unfortunately has to break it. And there's some cheese that they're going to have to work through. It's Unnamed. Unnamed building up that back-to-back. Unfortunately has to cancel. Can't find a multiplier into the quad, and Corpy's going to live.
Oh my god, this is another 2-minute match. I can't contain myself there, Davo. This is just so intense. Both of these players just desperately wanting this match to end, and hopefully Unnamed can take this deuce, but Corpy just wants to deny it so bad. They're playing faster. They're playing more intensive. It's almost margin time. How have we played this long?
Oh, the Z misdrop though on Corpy. Has to be very careful with this. Oh, and because of the drop speed, misdrops the O. It's a T-spin single. You can see Corpy is trying desperately to figure out good ways to downstack through this. It is a very difficult task, but a T-spin double into quad opens it up to the clean garbage. And Corpy manages to sneak out of that precarious situation. And Unnamed still has yet to get some momentum here.
This is a lot of pressure for both of these players. It's all about the fundamentals. Unnamed with the J-tuck.
3-minute match. Huge amounts of garbage coming off. And Corpy does manage to solidify it. And they are now going to advance on to our losers finals for Group C. My goodness. Corpy accepted one more line than they sent that entire set. But my goodness, the timing, the plonking from Corpy was phenomenal. And they are going to advance. Now they get to face Fortissim to see if they are going to get a chance to qualify for top 16.
What a way to end it. Oh, Corpy, with such a dominant losers bracket run. We've seen it from other players who have made some miraculous plays and miraculous matches in losers before. But seeing Corpy start with tons of connection issues and just popping off in losers bracket and facing Fortissim, the number 3 seeded player, this is going to be a legendary set and legendary run for Corpy, taking Unnamed, taking RKY, I think that might be RKY that he took earlier. Yeah, RKY, UI Galaxy, unfortunately losing to Muke, but since Muke is out of the tournament and finally getting to take that top and taking that 3rd place spot in Group C and having to face Fort, that's some dedication to take. And if they ever take out Fortissim, the top player of the group.
I mean, I was saying Fort was one of the hardest players to try and pull some upset play against, but Corpy has pulled off about as many upsets as you could have in a group stage. And Tagayat's also proved that it is possible to do it even against a player like Fort. So I don't really know what else I can comment on. I mean, this is just going to have to speak for itself, I think.
Absolutely. And Uh, Korean commentator represent indeed, according to Andy, because
I mean,
Corby.
yeah, Corp is a very consistent commentator for a lot of the Korean tournaments, Korean restreams. I mean, fantastic play. So,
Indeed.
really all around.
Oh, Seed 30 versus Seed 3. Fortism being the best player of the entire group, but we've seen Tagayas upset Fort in such a way that's just not even expected, and Corpy is going to make such a run that's going to end up being history in the TWC, if not all of in all competitive Tetrio. So, seeing one of the best in Korea versus one of the best in Canada, if not one of the most actively contributed Korean commentators and contributors of the community, even outside of the West, it's going to be amazing to see Corpy take this, but we don't know for sure, and Corpy is just having such a fun run with this, and Fort looking to try to get that second chance against the guys.
Yeah, Fort, I think, is just practicing that blitz currently, looking for ways to keep getting these all clears over and over. And for Corpy, that's just going to be extra down stack practice. Both players are timing perfectly to ensure that they get this off. There's a DPC continuation from Fort. Unfortunately, goes for the fractal follow-up. Corpy tries to spike it out, but is not going to do so successfully.
Oh, but Corpy looks strong with the 6-3, though.
I mean, is maintaining 160 APM at 3 pieces per second. You're not going to see that from many players. But Fort is also doing the same. Just a battle of efficiency.
Do we want to... Are we going to get to see a 24? Or are we going to get to see a 24 from Corpy?
I think we might. We're getting there.
I think we might. The mini? Yes? Yes?
23 builds up and for the quads.
That's 24. That's 24.
Wait, they passed it up. Wait, no, it was a misdrop.
No! Oh, Corby, no, doesn't get the 24, and that's going to be very costly.
And I think that's fatal. So I'm going to... yeah, I'm going to be honest. Your oh no sounded like a Mickey Mouse sound effect. Not going to lie, TGK. I want that on loop.
Oh, God, Corby. That was actually so unfortunate. We would have had so much damage from that. Ooh.
Fort's going BT Cannon continuation this time around.
The second round? Wow. And
yeah, and they get the PC finds. Going to be timing again, making sure that they're able to pull these loops off. It looks like they're just going to solidify for a TKI, though, to follow up. Gets a spike, and still has back-to-back. Yeah, that's going to be enough to top out Corpy.
It's really all about that patience from Ford. As much as Corpy has been really good to adapt to these sorts of things, Ford is always just, like I said with Tagayas, a very strong brick wall to really take it down, and it just takes so much effort to really do so. But Corpy is just trying to play it fairly slow, especially at a speed that I don't think we've seen a lot from other competitors in the scene. So Corpy is...
Oh, wow. What really a beautiful Imperial Cross from Fortism. We're going to be continuing to combo through a little bit with downstack. Yeah, not going to get too much APM as a result, though.
Yeah, Fort is really making all these setups work in their favor, but they're really going to look for that extra continuation to make it happen. Very good.
Yeah, and there's only one line of garbage. Fort could potentially try to run with some very strong back-to-back.
Oh, but not so much
what a T-spin setup for Fortism.
Oh, my
unfortunately, has to cut it, but still did a fantastic job keeping back-to-back for as long as they did.
And Corpy just... slow. Oh.
Corpy's still just countering like there's no tomorrow. I'm very surprised to see that despite the speed disadvantage, Corpy really demonstrating that despite a lot of what recent players have said about speed being such a predominant factor in matches, with players like Westo really pushing the forefront for what can be done, Corpy's showing that the defensive play styles and being able to counter garbage is not a dead strategy. And still lives that incredible spike from Fortism.
Oh, that is some very good canceling by Corpy. That would have been it if it weren't for that one line of send. And Corpy is being able to turn it around just so perfectly. Fortism waiting for that exact moment to change it back. And Fort is looking for all these plays to make it count. Well, Corpy gonna have to delay a bit. I think that misdrop might have been one mistake too many, but they're still fixing it pretty good. Corpy? Game back down. Fort.
Oh.
Very good count to 5. Oh.
Yeah, and Fort keeps it clean as well. Back-to-back is continuing to build.
Yeah, Fort is really playing pretty comfortably, but they're starting to be pressured so much, and it's going to take a lot of effort to really get out of it, which
yeah,
Fort
it was a
so
very
demonstrates.
has to break back-to-back, but still a very good decision there from Fort not to greed any more than they have to, because Corpy does have the ability to spike people out if you do tend to play a bit overly aggressive. Oh, and the downstack combo from Corpy, and they're able to get one on the board.
Like that. Corpy takes a round against Fortism. What a sight to see. And Fort is going to try the B team once again, while Corpy, you know, simple as T-spin setup, you know, nothing too crazy. Very good triple to open up that garbage well. Not exactly good back-to-back
Ooh,
pressure,
gets the all clear.
Ooh.
And is going to actually just go into SDPC following the BT cannon. Or, well, doesn't get the PC.
Well, I mean, this is a Blitz player's decision. Oh.
Okay, it's still going through, but notice Fort is playing this shockingly a little bit slower and really taking their time to think through and look at Corpy's board state to figure out how much is going to be countered and how much they're able to play aggressive. But Corpy is doing a fantastic job keeping the board low almost the entire time. Yeah, all right, and 14 from Forts does push Corpy up, but that's enough for a counter spike. Fort with a very good timing, making sure that they have something ready to send as well.
Oh, that's a beautiful setup for Fort. The SDSD find? That's a very good find by Fort, but Corpy is able to counteract that immediately. But they still need to do something with the setup. They're making pretty big cheese holes in the board.
Corpy, though, doesn't have a good way to skim on that left side, and Fort is going to take another 3-1. All right, early Z and O. Let's see, will we see any opener out of Fort? It looks like we're just going to be seeing the usual from them. You see spin doubles, there's the STSD build. Are they going to let the garbage come in? Yes, they do. And going to just continue to build back-to-back on top is what it looks like. Gets to the garbage and clean. 8 back-to-back, there's the number. And still able to send some retaliating counter spikes as well. Fort continuing unfazed. Finally breaks it, but ensures trying to get to it, but Corpy finds a downstack before Fort can send any more residual garbage.
Fort is really having a lot of effort to put on their hands, especially when dealing with Corpy, who is known on the defensive side, but especially at this kind of level, when you're Fort, you're going to need to do a lot more damage than you normally do in order to send Corpy out, which he's done that 3 times, so it's not so hard to think about, but knowing Corpy, you don't know what kind of shenanigans they're going to pull up.
Little misdrop T, but still has some dig options. Also has that, wow, gets the 10 spike on downstack. Quad multiplier on the downstack. Fort with the back-to-back, tries to push through, and is going to get another top out onto Corpy. Yeah, and it's 4-1. Really trying to see if they can pull themselves into a massive lead early on to try and pull things through. All right, as we see the SDPC.
Very interesting parapet continuation by Corpy. It's not really going to continue a lot into anything, but they so desperately want to do something with it. And Fortism is just playing simple 6-3. Unfortunately, going to have to break that back-to-back, all thanks to that horizontal eyepiece misdrop. Something you don't want, especially when trying to maintain damage. But Corpy is able to capitalize off that and just send just a bit more back, which is a lot of cheese. Especially for someone like Corpy,
little
who loves to send.
The quad for Fort. Almost misdrops the T-spin double, but not going to. Huge spike, though, from Corpy. 96 APM, but that's all that's needed.
It's all about that patience from someone like Corpy. And that really demonstrates it perfectly. And Fortism, of course, going for that SDPC special. Not going to go for the PC, but choosing to continue with the downstack.
Oh, Corpy with the massive spike. That's 14, but Fort is ready for it. He can still try to combo through. And a little bit of the counter spike there from Fort, plus follow-up is going to be too much for Corpy. And so Fort, 5-2. Lead isn't really starting to get ran away with, though. Corpy is still keeping things very, very tight.
Oh, very good PC find by Corpy. Not going to get that PC. Not going to get that second one, though, all thanks to Fortism's line sending. You know, as a Blitz player, you tend to see a lot of these actions and, you know, a lot of these actions and decisions.
But back-to-back. Is Fort going to do something with it here, or are we going to see a skim? We're just going to see it skim down.
Corpy with that C-spin going to be able to send just a bit. Now both of these players very much safe and neutral. Who knows what they're going to cook up? Oh, here we go Dono by Corpy, too. Whoa, what is this? What is this by Corpy? That's an interesting delay.
Oh, wow, and a beautiful overhang as well to boot.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Corpy is definitely one with the wild card type. Very good wait by Fort.
Well, yeah, Fort was debating that STSD setup and figured it was not the best time to pull it out, and I believe that was a correct decision on their parts. Ooh, I think it might have been a little bit of a mishold potentially from Fort. Actually just going to go all the way back down to ground zero and try and build a new stack from below. Could be building up some back-to-back.
Corpy just having so many decisions, and that really kind of falters in their play. When they have so much to choose from, they really tend to get lost in thought.
Ooh, 8 back-to-back.
Yeah, but
Fort could
Corpy
try and get a spike off, but no, going to have to break back-to-back as well.
Yeah, and Fortism has all of these choices to make too, but they're really finding it immediate, especially compared to Corpy, who's just looking to be slower. But Fort, on the other hand, just about as slow, if not slower. Very good mech by Corpy. Oh. But they're still trying to figure out what else to do, but they're pretty high on the board, and this might be pretty risky.
Oh, yeah. The eyepiece doesn't skim.
Yeah, the one hole on the board.
Just a lot of long games here for Corpy. Just the defensive play is unmatched. But Fortism still able to keep getting away with a lot of wins here and there. Oh my goodness, sets up the STSD. That's a fantastic spike.
That is a lot of damage for Fort. But all that doesn't matter.
Oh, wow. And just, a little misdrop there on Fort's side. But gonna just can turn this into a T-spin triple kick, into a fractal, into the floating T on top. However, Corpy, a beautiful, fantastic board state.
But Fort is still alive. No matter how much damage Corpy does, he's still going.
Fort, I think, wanted to try to see if that ice spin is gonna work. Gets the triple.
Oh, very good wait by Corpy. They're continuing that height difference, going to try to maintain as much as they could to get a lot of back-to-back garbage. Very good mini 2, and the mech, and the continuation. They're at the 8. Very good Dono.
Oh no, eyepiece misdrop though from Corpy. Has to be careful, but is able to get through scot-free. Opens the well, it's 13 back-to-back.
Has to break it, unfortunate.
Oh, and there we go, Fort with the timing as well. Trying to see what they can do. Beautiful 180 spin.
Oh my god, this is really just a cat and mouse chase for both players despite the lead difference. Corpy just wants to take it back for what's worth. And Fortism is really starting to struggle, but the down stack is looking pretty mighty beautiful, but the greed...
Wow! And the back-to-back spike from Corpy. And it's another game, 3-6.
Corpy getting back into the mood of things. Fortism going with that STPC. Oh, Corpy unfortunately not going to get that
PC.
Oh,
Fort misdrops the STPC.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Corpy might be able to capitalize off this. Oh.
Well, I feel like, I feel like it's a nature of the defensive playstyle. It takes a little bit more for Corpy to solidify on some things. Beautiful decision on down stacking. Not exactly needed to be a last-minute decision, but still on the bare bones.
Oh my god, Corpy choosing not to greed over there, as it might have been costly for another round and another round win on Fort's book. But they're still going with this kind of momentum, still trying to play it fairly safe and clean, and just their main objective is just the power stack and see what works. See if Fort can make as many mistakes as Corpy's had in the past few runs and being able to reflect on it. So all of this adaptive thinking for Corpy is going to be very, very important later on, and Fort is just doing the best they can to do a lot of damage, but Corpy, very amazing prophecy by Corpy.
Oh, and Fort has such good garbage, though, to continue on to a center wall stack. 7 back-to-back. Corpy, though, does live.
Oh,
And it's
that
going to be
downside
some cheesy
decision.
garbage for Fort, so Fort has to be careful. Beautiful job cleaning things up. That's 10 back-to-back, but Corpy's ready with a bit of a counter spike. That does force the pop off of Fortissim. The 180.
Yeah, Corpy's going to need to find some specific way of ending this round as we're almost 2 minutes into the match while Fortism has the 9-0 to really work this out, but they really need some sort of idea on how to transition into something deadly. Corpy is just getting away with this back-to-back, but has to break it early. They just want the favor clean, but oh, very good fix by Corpy too, being able to get that immediate fix no matter what. Very good 182. Oh my god, Fort is struggling.
Oh my goodness, the Z spawns in. Can they get skims? No, they cannot. And that's going to be yet another win for Corpy. It's 4-6.
God, I can tell by the nerves on Corpy. They have never faced someone like Fort just do so much pressure onto their mental, but also so much pressure in general. And all these mistakes.
Oh, has to be careful with the skims.
Fort almost kills Corpy, but Corpy manages to make it out alive while Fort is continuing that back-to-back pressure, but Corpy ain't having that.
Another spike, but Corpy counter spikes in order to stay alive.
Oh, beautiful dono by Corpy. Oh my god, this could be all or nothing for the Korean commentator. Still putting on so much to Fort, but Fort is still holding on. Just like how Fort is holding on to all this garbage.
150 APM out of 2.7 PPS from both Fort and Corpy. It's about as efficient as you could ask for from a match between two players here in TWC. But I definitely think Fort intentionally working on this efficiency. No, the misdrop. That cuts off all burns below that point in the stack. However, Fort able to use a little bit of speed at the top, but it's not going to be enough before Corpy manages to get the few extra lines to top them out. And it's 5-6. Corpy versus Fortissim. Looks like Fortissim, TKI.
This is so nerve-wracking for Fort. Imagine almost being at a tied-up scenario. This might have been PTSD for what he had against Tagayas earlier, but they really need to keep their cool going in order to secure the set and get a rematch. But Corpy has all of this energy to really continue all of that pressure.
Oh my goodness, the center well. And look at that. I think we got 170, 180 APM from like 3 pieces per second out of Corpy. The efficiency is really doing a number on Fortissim. Just unable to find a way to close things out.
Yeah, Fortism is just really putting all of what's worth, and Corpy doesn't have the skim to solve himself.
And the 180 APM out of 2.7 pieces per second, Fortissim definitely being sure to take it a little bit slow and trying to out-efficiency Corpy here. Seems to be working out rather well. It looks like now they're going to just go for the all-clears, it seems. Corpy, though, does have the ability to downstack through. Fortissim misdrops the all-clear.
Oh, and now it's going to be for Corpy. Oh, God.
All right, let's see how Fortissim and Corpy react. Corpy still playing at a very consistent pace, around 2.5 pieces per second. Fort also trying to slow things down as a result.
A very good dono by Fort, but not going to be able to get another one, except for that mini continuation. Very good find by Fort. That 9-0 pressure, of course, with them being very good at single player tech. They're able to capitalize off that back-to-back chain, but has to break it, unfortunately. Corpy still holding on very safely, still being sent a lot of cheese, but that cheese is some pretty good ammo. Oh, it's a very interesting dono continuation by Corpy, and Fort is still trying to find a way to get some damage done and dealt with. But Corpy is still going. He is still continuing. He still has a way to... he still has plenty of ways to send as much as he could. No matter if it's cheese, no matter if it's garbage, it could mean anyone's decision. And the mechs, too. Can't forget about the mechs. Can't forget about the mechs, and Corpy is still going.
Alright, Fort making good work of that garbage. Might potentially try to build up some back-to-back. We'll see. There's the 13 spike. Corpy has to break back-to-back, but there's clean garbage once they get down to it. Beautiful comboing through from Corpy to make sure not to lose any momentum. But Fort is starting to turn on the Jets.
God.
And another win for Fort, bringing that lead back to 3. And again, it still doesn't look safe though for Fortisum. Corpy still already has 5 wins. And with the ability to... Oh my... Oh wow, what a T-spin single kick for Fortisum, able to still keep the back-to-back building without sending too much garbage. One of the hidden benefits of keeping those T-spin singles, the free C-spin, the 1 in 10 garbage, opens the well back up. We're at 9 back-to-back. Fortisum, I think, almost taking one out of Corpy's book, building up that back-to-back slowly but surely. Unfortunately, has to let it pop. And is going to try and see if this extra bit of pressure will push Corpy over the edge, but it's not going to do so.
Oh my god, Corpy is hanging on a thread. That board looked like they might have topped out immediately, but they still managed to dig through it, and Fortisum is still playing off that 9-0 strat that they so desperately try to look for. Very amazing count to 8 by Fort, but the Z-Myth strat by them is going to be a bit to take in. And the eye funneling, but they still fix it immediately, while Corpy is just still playing a bit faster now.
Oh my goodness, Fort, the fin spin.
Oh my god.
In order to get that. I guess at this point, with Fort taking their time a little bit and thinking about these pieces to make sure they're not getting plonked out.
Oh,
I mean, maybe you can go for some of these wild builds, but... Oh, there we go, and Fort sees the opportunity to build that extra garbage and sends a huge spike.
Fortisum still taking a pretty hefty lead over Corpy. Corpy has had such a loser's bracket run, so losing to Fort might not be surprising, but it might be detrimental.
Okay, and yep, Fort just running with the BT cannon, but is timing it to make sure that they're able to get the all-clear solve. We see that does spike Corpy up. Corpy, though, does have the resources necessary. And Fort now going into their regular opener as a result after the BT loop, since it does... Well, I mean, it does loop, but...
It's definitely some sort of benefit for Fort, but it does keep it consistent as they are so used to it. But Fort is able to really use all of these situations. And
oh wow, the down stack combo from Fort, but Corpy able to do likewise, get that quad on 5 combo. And another down stack combo for Corpy as well, keeping things safe. Getting a little bit airtight. Fort has to break the back-to-back, unfortunately. But is still just right back into it, trying to build it up once again.
Oh my god, Corpy is just
the
having
STSD from Fort.
Corpy is still trying to hold on, but all of this patience from Fort is just really putting so much momentum. But the double card might be able to send a lot to Fort, and this is pretty pressuring, but Fort gets back down, but Corpy is not going to let that slide. Oh my goodness, Corpy is still going, and I know it may sound like I'm repeating myself, but that's just because I've seen this all the time, and Corpy is continuously adding a lot of defense to his name, while Fort is still having a lot of damage to 9-0, as we so see from every single round. Oh, that's a beautiful setup for Fort. That's going to secure this round.
Oh my goodness, Fortisum.
Yeah, that continuation was so beautiful by Fort. Doubling the amount of points of Corpy and taking match point. This could be his game, or if Corpy can make a miracle and make this into a deuce like he did with RKY, also another fellow Canadian, who knows where this is going to go.
I mean, we've got well, I don't know if it's the last player from Korea currently standing, but definitely one of the shoutouts that I'd love to highlight if we do get a highlight reel for TWC matches. Facing Fortisum, unfortunately falls, but now Fortisum, our lonesome Canadian that is still alive in this group stage, going on to face one of the top, if not the top player from Brazil in our grand final set. And both players sending over 2,000 lines, Fort only accepting about 1,600. So very good damage management from them. However, Corpy, though, still with the slow-paced gameplay, even slowing a player like Fortisum down, getting 5 wins off of a player that is very hard to try and surprise. So, my goodness, very good stuff, I think, just from both players in general, being able to, Fort adapt on a dime to a playstyle that I haven't really seen them experiment with, just pure efficiency at under 3 pieces per second. And Corpi as well, able to take someone with breakneck speeds and slow them down and play their game. But now Fortissim's in a bit of a tricky spot because they've had to play slow and efficient, but are now going to be dealing with an offensive powerhouse in Tagayats, who has a set buffer. So Fort's going to have to win 2 first to 11 plus 2s if they do want to take this through and continue on with the winning spot into our top 16.
What a beautiful run by Corpi, but of course, all miracles must come to an end. But we might have one more miracle for Fortissim versus Tagayats, both of them securing the top 16 spot, but of course, another chance at seeing who gets to take the winner's side of top 16 tonight at TWC 2023 at Group C, because we've seen Tagayats absolutely wash Fortissim out of the equation, but Fortissim looks like they might have another chance at redemption, and they might get the reset if they ever so have the confidence for, which, judging by the previous matches that we've seen from them, could be very, very, very impressive to see.
I mean, I think the trickiest part here, I think that they've got to be that they've got to work with here. So obviously, Fort, I think, kind of intentionally slowed it down a little bit with Corpi, making sure they didn't get out damaged and whatnot and out plonked a little bit, for lack of better terms. But Tagayats plays an entirely different play style, and as we've seen, if it catches Fort off guard, which usually doesn't happen, but Tagayats just ran 11-1 away with the winner's final set. So Fort has to be very aware of how they're going to be playing this next set to see if they're able to make the adaptations necessary. And I think they're probably just going to go into it. I don't even think there's a warm-up. They're just going to be, it's do or die time for Fortissim to see if they're going to get that winner's side in the top 16, or if Tagayats will be the one taking that upset.
It's also important to note that Fort is on loser sides of Grand Finals with a broken hard drop key.
Yeah,
so,
that's...
this is going to be very hard for Fort, but they can still manage to stomach this the best they can compared to last time, because despite the mirrored stats with Tagayats being speedy and Fortissim being efficient, Fortissim is really going to have to play very cautiously and also very forcefully, especially with that kind of setback. So even though they still have a top 16 spot, they still need to play out.
This is the difference between casters and players. All right, I'm a caster. I have a broken down key. I just get a new keyboard at that point. I just try to find something to play on a different thing. And Fort just says, no, it's a skill issue. You just play with it.
It's like trying to be able to run with a broken leg, and that's just what Fort is just trying to desperately, accommodate for. And Tagayats is just playing like Tagayats. Speedy, fast, damaging, free PPS. I mean, that's Tagayats for you. Best in Brazil.
Oh no, the misdrop, unfortunately. We can
dear.
see, I think Fort is trying to hurriedly switch up the music channel, I believe, for them.
Yeah, Fort is just really having a hard time with this sort of thing, and of course slamming all these hard drops down like it's NBA basketball. It's just really difficult for them. Well, Tagayats is just adding so much damage, but Fort is still trying their best to really make something out of this. And by those spikes, it definitely seems like he's trying. And Tagayats is playing fairly high, but of course with the speed that Tagayats can go, it's really hard to counter it unless Tagayats make some mistakes themselves.
Ooh, okay, the back-to-back though is building from Fortissim.
Very good multiplier too by Fort. Oh.
Yeah, passes up on that Tetris, doesn't need to send a spike if it's not going to top out. Tagayats is really, okay, has to break back-to-back, goes all in on the garbage, has a misdrop, and Fort all the way at the bottom of the stack, tries to push as much APM out as possible. Unfortunately, needs to get a couple skims as well under their belt. And now Tagayats is in a little bit of the repeat situation. The STSD only gets half complete as they take a second win.
Oh my god, Fort is really struggling so much. I just don't know whether to feel bad to continue casting. And the misdrops on the SDPC, I think that may be a good definition of that sort of, that's a pretty good definition of that setback. And Fort trying their best to make the best they can off of a very serious situation.
Oh my goodness.
Tagayas is still going. Look at the pressure. Look at the APM 200, but they're still pretty high on the board, and Fortism is trying everything to make
Oh my goodness, and a beautiful down stack from Fort, and now they're starting to really pull those chains.
Oh, that
Imperial Cross.
That M cross from Fort. Just something that they're so confident in, but they still want to try their best to really turn this around, even when they're 2 points behind. They just want to take down Tagayas like what Tagayas did to them. But Tagayas is just playing out their mind.
Oh, alright. Oh, the garbage is getting a little bit sputtery for Tagayas. However, it does get to an eyepiece in time.
And that's all about the speedy play of players like Tagayas just being able to get out at breezneck speeds. Fortism is still trying to take the patience and also the sacrifice of a hard drop button, just trying to do everything to make this.
Oh, the back-to-back, very good use of the center well, and that's gonna be another game for Fortism. Last time, it took them, okay, never mind, it's over.
It's just a lot to take in, and Fortism is already going with some PC spam, you know, the usual. Welcome to the Fortism
The usual,
house.
the 300 APM usual from Fortism. Oh my goodness, and the reverse spike from Tagayas. Immediately
that was a murder.
Received the envelope and said the return address is wrong. I'm returning this to sender. Please bring this back to me at a later date.
Oh my god, that wasn't a top out, that was a decap. And Tagayas is really continuing all of that pressure and momentum. They're still going as fast as like any other speed demon would. Any kind of strider, no matter what.
Oh no, the misdrop for Tagayas!
Oh,
and that's
that
going to
is
be
so
another
unfixable.
top out. And last time, Fort was not able to get 2 games before Tagayas took the set, and now Fortism keeps the lead within 1.
Fortism is really getting back onto their groove, and they're still continuing with that pressure. Very good weight by
Oh, and good
Fort.
spike mentality from Fortism. There's 30, but Tagayas is still just as fast and able to mitigate most of that garbage.
Oh, unfortunately, gonna have to make plenty of cheese for themselves. That Jambus drop gonna be very costly. Oh, Fortism is still going with this clean efficiency, as they so casually do. And they're still trying to do what they can do best. Oh, very good 12 spike. But the guys breaking back-to-back at 8. But they're still keeping up that pressure. There's so much cheese for Fort to work with. But of course, when you're adapted to so many playstyles like Fort, it's just really hard to take down if you're Tagayas.
Oh my, 16 spike, it came all at once for Fortism, but it doesn't matter. Oh my goodness.
Oh, very good turnaround by Fort, gonna be able to just get it in their favor once again, while Tagayas is just hanging on by a thread with all of this pressure. Very good switchback by them. Fort is just starting to struggle, but they're still putting on so much damage. Oh my god.
Oh wow, and Tagayas, and that's an even game. Fortism 3-3.
Yeah, Fortism is starting to really make a proper use of that, you know, scuffed spacebar button, but hey, you gotta do what's best for you, and Fort is really making up that mistake pretty much the best they can. And Tagayas over here
wow,
is
the
just trying to
donation
fix
play from
this.
Fort.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay, oh, but Tagayas, a little bit of early spiking.
Oh,
But Fortism, again, that extra practice with Corpy of playing slow and knowing how to get these counters out in time, coming in very useful to make sure they're not going to be topping out to Tagayas', even with all of this APM just suddenly rushing in all at once.
yeah, and Fort is really, really patient and really conservative about those kinds of pieces and being able to recover just perfectly, and identifying the speed of someone like Tagayas, which, by the way, is the only speed demon that's currently in this bracket. It's just, I don't know how to make of this. This is just really difficult for Fort, but he's making it look so easy. And Tagayas is just still putting on all of that defense games, the variety, the diverse and versatile playstyle that they so wish to inherit is just looking pretty strong. And
Wow, 29. Oh, and Fort runs out of skim options. Unfortunately, it was an S piece first and then the Z. But Tagayas takes that lead back. And it is 4-3. Remember, Tagayas only needs to win one more set. Okay. Oh my goodness, and Ford is blitzing out a ton of early APM.
Oh, and taking another round against Tagai. It's tying it once again. Oh. Oh my god, Tagai's with the PC. This is something that Fort wishes that he could have. But they're just looking to macro as much as they can, because look at the pressure. But Tagai's is able to cancel all of that immediately.
Oh, wow, and good spike from Fort. Tagayats has, alright, beautiful option, turning that into a T-spin single. Making sure not to spend too many lines skimming. Well, that wasn't the nicest T-spin single, but still cleans it up very quickly. Another couple of misdrops, the T-spin, none. Not going to be lethal, though, but Fort is already building up this back-to-back, and you can see them are really starting to fly. 3.7, that speed is still going up. We see the magic number. There's a donation on top. But Tagayats tries to reverse spike, but Fortissim is ready for it and goes all in for a little bit of extra combo. Misdrops, unfortunately.
But Fortissim makes it out just okay. The 8 combo is enough to recover, and Tagayats is just still trying to do as much damage as he possibly could, like he did the last round. And he's just, oh my god, he was almost float stacking.
Oh,
that is so
boy.
Greedy. That is so greedy.
Tagayats able to get through. Not quite going to get that quad on combo. Definitely would have sealed the deal, I think, for this game 9. Fortissim, though, doing a fantastic job.
Very good donut by Tagayats.
T-spin single. We get a fractal, but we're going to still a little ways before that next T, so going to have to get bailed on.
Oh, Tagayats putting the nail in the coffin to that round, taking the 9th round. And back the lead just by about a point. Fort really needs to make an insane number.
And, yeah, Fort, I think, was looking for ways to continue that SDPC. I don't think they had the best piece sequence, ideally, but still looking to be in a relatively okay position.
That position, it definitely looks like Fortism might be in trouble. This decision might be greedy, but it's still going to pay off for Fort. Tagayats is completely
20 spike. But not going to do much to Tagayats. They're ready to accept. And again, Tagayats still just going to try and continue keeping very few garbage on the board.
Oh my god.
Oh, it just barely gets through.
Fortism is just clearly power stacking through all of this. Wanted to do something to make this work. But Tagayats with a bit of cheese, it's going to be very hard to deal with. Fortism tying it once again.
And 5-5 between Fortism and Tagayats. We have early O, so potentially stick spin if either player opts to do so, but it looks like neither one will. We see the TKI options come out from both. Fort has some very excellent garbage. That's going to be a pretty nice spike going through. Tagayats is caught off guard and misdrops the eye.
That is a very lucky STSD quad combo for Fort securing a very short round. That was extremely lucky for Fort. If that weren't to happen, that would have been a very dire situation, but Fort is still making the best out of a sticky situation.
Oh, and now, yeah, Tagayats trying to see if they can spike out early. Fort has to spend the eyepiece, trying to dig down, and a misdrop Z. Tagayats brings it back to even. 6 answering 6. We have an early eye, so probably the TKI builds again from both. Fort almost missing the 180 spin, just going to keep continuing through, not going to go for that STSD continuation. And Tagayats right now is just going to try and build through a 7-2-6-3 as fast as humanly possible. Actually going to act a little bit of down stack as well in the process, trying to keep that garbage low, making sure that all of that stack is entirely man-made.
Oh my god, Tagayats is kicking up the momentum again. Fort's lead was short-lived, but he still has it pretty close. But Tagayats could be able to take 4 more rounds to secure the winner's top 16 spot, but Fortism has to make a miracle to make this work. Oh.
Yep, no option there for the PC from Fortissim, so just going to keep continuing to stack and freestyle like normal. The Tagayats has a little bit of interesting garbage to get through, but again, that 4 pieces per second really helping them make a lot of extra waves of improvements on this build.
Yeah, Tagayats is looking pretty healthy with this setup, having to rely on that center stacking, and Fort is just clearly looking for damage, looking for T-spins, looking for back-to-back, because the mini
Fort
continuation
keeps back-to-back, finally breaks it at 9. Still got a little bit of that extra garbage in the process. Clean garbage still, just that one little bit of cheese. Actually going to accept, I think, did they skim the eyepiece on the top?
That is
Just a
interesting.
combo extend?
Was the guys transitioning from the ST stacking into mech? That is some bonkers levels of stacking from the guys.
Very creative plays to close out our Group C. Tagai is still in the lead by 1, only needs to win this set, but Fort still keeping things airtight between the two of them. And a couple of...
Oh. Count to 5. Oh my god, Tagayats and Fort. Both of these players are relatively at neutral, but Fort is just getting closer and closer to topping out. This is a minute 30. We could potentially have a long margin time window over here, but Tagayats is just making it last.
Oh, but the spikes unit from Fortissim, and that's going to clear up the center well. Lot of very quick garbage from Fort, and I believe that's going to spike Tagayats out, and we are 7-2-7 between Fortissim and Tagayats.
Yeah.
Currently Z and I, again, seems to be the typical TKI builds from both. We see there's the STSD follow-up from Fort. Keeps back-to-back, gets to the clean garbage.
Good dono. Fort is keeping up the pressure. Back-to-back of 8. This is some very amazing damage for Fort. The TS is going to be able to continue it immediately. Oh, and that 6-4. That 6-4 looks mighty beautiful.
Oh my goodness, Fort keeps back-to-back. Gets the spike, finally it's over, but it doesn't matter, that's enough garbage to produce the top out, and Fort, 8-7, continues to have a lead, or, well, either tied or lead, I think since they were at 5 wins.
God. And that, there's so many minis that could have, that just secured the set entirely. Not exactly the set, but the round, but the guy ain't having it. He's still down stacking for the life of him. And Fortism is just still playing like he normally does. Just spam damage, spam setups, spam mech, spam fins, spam anything. He just wants the patience and the chance to kill as soon as he could. Just the game plan needs to be in his favor. This is looking pretty risky for Fort though, because look at the stack that he's building. All this greed has to pay off immediately, especially with the speed. And Tagayas is just still going with this defense.
Well, yeah, Fort's trying to consider ways to keep that stack clean. Fortunately, the back-to-back does have to break yet again. And
very beautiful
still a little bit of skim, but yeah, very good. Making sure to keep, again, as much of that garbage off the board as they possibly can.
Very good floaty by Fort. Gonna be able to make some proper usage of it. Also amazing count to 4. Gonna have to delay that quad eventually with this 8-1.
All the SDSD builds.
Oh, but I don't think it's enough to kill Tagayats, because Tagayats still has also enough 9-0 pressure for themselves. Fortism's board.
Very interesting choices though from Fort. Unfortunately, the eyepiece, it does have to get slotted over column 1, so it's going to be a little difficult for Fort to get to that garbage and downstack. Manages to do so, though, just in the nick of time. Tagayats isn't able to send out enough pressure as they are very low on the board with not enough ammo.
Oh, beautiful downstack by Fort. Tagayats has a very strong eye dependency, not going to be able to get the quad, and they're still trying to see what works for them. And Fort is just... Oh boy, the 6-3. You know it's coming. You know it's coming.
Oh boy, but so is the garbage.
Oh my god, Tagayas barely almost killing Fortism in a matter of seconds, but Fortism is still alive and hanging. And Tagayas is just frantically just doing his best to play as fast and speedy and just trying to kill Fortism no matter the cost, no matter if it's the board efficiency, but Fort is still going. He's still going, and the back-to-back pressure, like we saw, C's just becoming stronger and stronger.
Oh, okay, finally has to break the back-to-back, but we are getting a little bit closer to that margin time. You can start to see the pieces are starting to speed up as they're falling down.
Oh my god, Fortism!
Oh!
Oh my god!
Wow. An 8-8. I'm pretty sure since like 5 wins, I don't think there was a single lead higher than 2. Just
God, and I think the one time we've seen it was Tagayats. Oh god. Oh god, Tagayats is just looking to add so much pressure, but Fort loves the clean. He loves the clean. He wants the clean, and that's just what he
Oh, and there's
wants.
the counter spike. Tagayats, though, has the resources to make it work, but unfortunately does not cash out on the eyepiece in time and gets stuck in an unfavorable position, 9-8. Fortissim only needs 2 more for the bracket reset, but Tagayats still within threatening range of pushing it to deuce. I believe Fort with the BT cannon follow-up does not go with the C-spin continuation. And a misdrop from Tagayats, 10-8. Fortissim is 1 game off from bringing this to a bracket reset as we have an early O&I to start things off.
And Fort not going for the perfect clear, but Tagayats not choosing the same. And looks like both of these players are trying to play as honest as they can, but Tagayats is looking pretty high, but Fort needs to add just enough pressure in order to top him out and secure a bracket reset.
Oh my goodness, and look at this, look at Tagayas right now, 4.4, almost a resting speed, is really trying to blitz things out to make sure that they don't top out from anything with Fortissim. They want to try and see, they've already gotten 8 wins so far, they don't want to lose it here and have to reset the bracket. But it looks like it might potentially be the case if Fortissim sends a big enough counter spike follow-up, but it's not going to happen in time as Tagayas is able to get out and out to the clean garbage.
But Tagayas needs to wait for that quad, though, as Fortissim is still continuously sending him back up to the board. This is looking pretty risky. Fortissim, unfortunately, not finding the PC that they so desperately wanted to turn this around.
Oh my goodness, the mid-game all clear from Tagayas.
Speaking of PCs, Tagayas finds one immediately, but of course with a bit of garbage couldn't exactly find another one. So Fortissim needs to really think ahead of time.
Oh, the huge spike from Tagayas. I believe that's going to do a top out. And now there is a lot of pressure on both players. Tagayas win will push it to deuce. Fortissim will push for bracket resets. And it looks like we're going to be seeing SDPC blitz out of Fortissim. Unfortunately, the all clear is not there, so they're just going to continue, keep building up that back-to-back. Tagayas rushes in a spike.
That might be greedy.
Oh, but where's the dig options? And I think that's a deuce in grand finals. 10-10 between Fortissim and Tagayas. It's the first deuce on stream. And it has finally arrived. But we see again the SDPC blitz from Fortissim going to crash out as much of that APM as possible. Here's the DPC. And it's going to almost be overwhelming, but Tagayas does get the builds off in time.
The striding from Tagayas, that's just going to mean nothing to Fortissim. Because all of that PCs, what is that going to do? What's that going to do if you're Fortissim?
Oh, but Fort gets to the well clean. There's a 9 back-to-back. These are going to start to really matter. And a couple of misdrops. Fort regains that advantage. It's 11-10. One more match will push it to a bracket reset and put Fort into a new clean slate. But Tagayas is so close, they don't want to have this happen if they can avoid it. I believe that's an early misdrop, though, from Tagayas.
Oh my god, but Tagayas just doesn't really care about that all that much, except for Fort. Fort wants to just... Oh my god, Fort just wants to live. That's a match point situation, if not a reset point situation. Because Tagayas is just still holding, just all of this cheese, able to eat it up just so effortlessly. But Fort is just really starting to get sick of all of this defense, if not the entire set. Because Tagayas is still sending so much damage. Oh god, and the problem.
Oh my goodness, the forecasted T-spin double. Unfortunately, Fort has to bail on it, and there's a misdrop as well. We're going to be going to another deuce. It's 11-11. Ordinarily, this would be enough to win the entire grand finals or put it into a reset. But both players, despite a 1-11 in winners finals, have kept things just as close as can possibly be. We see the DPC comes out from Fortissim, tries to get that instant early game spike, and they do. Advantage is still in Fortissim's grasp, but Tagayas is trying not to let this slip through their fingers to a bracket reset. They want to just end it as soon as possible.
Oh, very good patience by both players. Both of them just canceling the... Uh-oh, that's a boomerang. That's a boomerang, Fort. That's a boomerang.
Oh, but they managed to clean it up, and there's not a lot of cheese. Fort still has plenty of options left, but so does Tagayas. Tagayas blitzing out at 4.5 pieces per second.
Oh God, very beautiful play by Fort, being able to secure that STSD, but Tagayas just sends more. He just sends more. A triple deuce?
Oh my goodness, 12-12 between Fortissim and Tagayats.
Oh,
So we have an early L and J to start.
And
Alright, and we're going to see Grace System from Forts. There's the double perfect clear. We do not see a DPC. Tagayats rushing in a lot of pressure. Oh, there's the Fractal. And Tagayats still building up this back-to-back, but Fort is doing an incredible job tanking, but it's not going to be enough. 276, and Tagayats has the lead.
Tagayats may be able to take this legendary upset once again against Fortissim, the former world record blitz holder.
Ooh, and the all-clear does shut down SDPC. Fort still able to get the triple-double as a result, but a misdrop from Tagayats, and we're still on a deuce. It's 13-13.
Deuce for both players. It's all about the fundamentals at this point. Who is going to take this set?
Oh my goodness, and Fort yet again goes for another gray system. I think was trying to look for another perfect clear. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen in time. It's Tagayats is going to get a couple of T-spin singles, break some back-to-back, and send some cheese. Fort with a little bit of the timing as well.
He's just hanging on by a thread with all these points. The quadruple deuce, it's just so many rounds. This is not even Tetr anymore. This is just a battle of mind games.
Oh, but Fort, 7 back-to-back still has to break it. Tagayats manages to get through to the center well. Fort tries to find a way to kick things in. No, it's not going to happen. It's 14-13 for Tagayats.
Oh my god, Fort. If he ever secures another round, we might have a quintuple deuce at this point. But judging by the
oh my goodness, and the very quick all clears. Fort's gonna blitz it out. Tagayats is ready for it. Skims through to the well. But Fort is still getting these all clears. 5 pieces per second with a broken hard drop key. DPC. And this is a crazy amount of pressure, but Tagayats is still keeping it clean. And there's the reverse 30 spike, and Fortissim as well. 300 APM is still continuing on with this. Does not want to let this go. Will keep tugging until their fingers cannot pull anymore on this rope. Eyepiece misdrop on 7 back-to-back. Tagayats, though, not in a position to capitalize.
Oh my god, Fort is giving his all, the best he can. He needs to play safe. He needs to secure another deuce. He needs to do anything in order to turn this around because this is such a grueling set for both of these players. We have never had a quadruple deuce in all of Tetr World Cup history, if not all of competitive Tetr, history. In general. This is the peak of what we see with players like these.
Oh my goodness. And just... Okay, a little bit of center well from Fortissim. It's like I see these spikes happening, and I can know, Forts and Tagayats just building up and down the entire time, but just it doesn't matter.
The parapet. Fortissim is still going. He's still holding on. He still has so much.
Oh my goodness! And this might be what Fortissim needs. There's the STSD, but Tagayats gets to the clean garbage in the nick of time. It's a breaking of the back-to-back on Fortissim, but a couple of misdrops on Tagayats. We are onto a 14-14 deuce. I believe that's at least 4 or 5 in a row. And since 5 game wins between Tagayats and Fortissim, this lead has still stayed within 1. Fortissim working on those perfect clears. Going to go for the TKI. It's another perfect clear. PC loops. And Tagayats still keeps it low. There's another PC. Tagayats still keeps it clean. Finally, a misdrop on Fort's board.
Oh my god, this.
Oh no, and Fort with a misdrop. And I think that's a little bit of nerves. That's gonna do it. Tagayats 15-14. Everyone fighting inch and nail. Trying to find a way to break through these walls. But Fort as well, just not letting this go. There's the all clear as a result. A misdrop. That's another. It's another. We're 30 games in and there's still no winner. 30 games in. We still don't have a winner. We're still at deuce.
How is this group grand finals? This is about as. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my lord.
I can't even speak anymore, David. This is too much for me.
No, I don't blame you. This set was supposed to have 11 as its win condition. We're 30 games in. We're about to beat that by 3 times over.
We have never had a quintuple deuce happen at TWC ever, if not all of Tetrio. This is about, like I said, this is about as peak as we're gonna get. This is just so much for both of these players to handle. I don't know who to root for.
Oh, wow. Tagay still with the sidewell. 20 spike from Fort, though, is going to protect them. They have the back-to-back still rolling. It's at 15, 16. It's now
17.
higher than the set count, which is incredibly difficult to say.
Oh
Tagay,
my god, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, still keeping this spike going.
I can't... Dude, what the hell is going on? What the hell?
Oh, but Fort, a little bit greedy, but 15 spike. Still goes for it, and Tagayats gets caught off guard.
Oh God,
Fort regains the lead since the first time since I believe they had 12 or 13 wins. 31 games is going to end at 32 for a bracket reset. Tagay is still going to try and fight for their life. All right, the all clear is denied. Tagay sends enough counter garbage in time, but Fort is also trying to keep this pressure up. Back-to-back is still getting blitzed out from them. 4.5 pieces per second, though, keeping Tagay alive and a huge offensive pressure. But Fort, enough back-to-back. There's a misdrop Z, and that's it. That's a bracket reset after 32 games. Fortissim pushes it 17 to 15. The results screen is going to have to start scrolling. 3,000 lines sent from both players each. And it barely fits in your screen that you're watching this on. But the performance is unparalleled. Versus score within 2 between Tagayats and Fortissim. But a bracket reset nonetheless.
Pardon my language, but what the fuck?
I honestly, I know there have been some very long sets in the past, and we were literally talking between Muke and Corpy that like, oh, the disconnects might make this the longest set ever. No, we didn't see grand finals yet. And this still isn't over. We've got a bracket reset. We've got a minimum of 11 more games had. They're already at 32 matches. And it's a bracket reset.
I'm gonna have a panic attack. Oh my god. No,
it's okay. Deep breaths. All right, here's some water.
Thank you.
Here. It's right here. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, and we actually have gone so far that I believe Misty can't actually contain stream anymore. We might have to switch stream host over to Edge.
Why?
Yeah,
streaming
hello
the PK
everyone.
side of things.
My mic is hot on TSD stream. Yeah, I have work in 10 minutes. So
oh my lord, T-Flat.
I am.
T-Flat was probably praying that this set didn't go to Deuce.
We will be handing this stream off to Puzzle Kingdom. And I believe they'll be doing a comm swap as well after the Group D finishes up.
So, are they still going too?
I believe they are still going.
Oh my lord, what a night for Tetrio World Championships, man. Group C and Group D bringing the heat from Firestorm and bringing the crazy plays between Tagayats and Fort. I said it before, Fort has you covered with just about anything you want. If you want the longest set ever and a bracket reset, Fort has you covered. Oh my lords. Oh my goodness. And again, you can see the TGK is like doing a lap around in the room. There is so much happening. So much energy. And it sucks that we gotta like have this dull period in between the PK stream finishing up and not. But again, don't go anywhere. I mean, if anything, just continue to have both streams up because apparently it must be a crazy stream as well on Group D if they're still going. Because we've had plenty of delays to our side of things on Group C, and both are still in the process of finishing our grand finals matches.
Oh, my head hurts.
It's okay. I'd be surprised if it didn't.
I don't know if I can commentate anymore. Oh my god.
Okay, take deep breaths. It's okay. I don't have like the chalky milk I can give you, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
Actually, here. Anyone who's got Photoshop, just have some chalky milk right here. So this is for you guys, all right? You've lasted the entire thing. Go get your refreshments. Go get your snacks. We've still got more Tetrio World Championships action from Group C coming at you live once we are able to transition over I don't think we... I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think we've ever had a situation of just...
Keep in mind, both of these players are best in Brazil and Canada, respectively. This is the battle of North America and South America.
I believe we're going to be raiding over to Puzzle Kingdom and then probably swapping comms to keep us up there. At least I really hope so. But I believe if Modest, Quick and Smart, and Skyfire are taking over, they're going to be in for a treat with this grand final set. So, again, don't go anywhere. Stick with the raid, and we will be over on Puzzle Kingdom shortly. Bye-bye for now, and keep up these Tetrio vibes.
Take care.
We'll see you later.
Oh, I need some sleep.
Oh my...
Can we stop waving now? I'm tired.
Okay, the raid went through. Okay, alright. Oh my goodness, it's 10-9. QMK's over Firestorm. What is that? A set? Oh my god.
What? What? What the?
Alright, go Misty. Go to work. You got it.
Take care.
Alright.
Take care.
I'm probably gonna join the PK thing.